got my laces tied. My trusty podcast by my side. If you wanna talk fun, it's the place to be. Yeah, it's the drop, D-R-O-P.
Hi, this is Thomas with Believe in the Run.
This is Robbie with Believe in the Run.
This is Megan with Believe in the Run.
And this is Carl with Believe in the Run.
And you're listening to The Drop, our weekly podcast about running.
Yeah.
Occasionally. Actually, we have quite a bit of running talk today.
Yeah, today is a lot of running.
Okay, so we're recording this on Tuesday, July 1, which is what?
Gritmas.
Gritmas.
Merry Gritmas. The beginning of summer grit. The worst time of the year for me personally.
Yeah.
And the best time of the year.
Yeah.
For you personally. You love grit. You have said multiple times that you have had wonderful experiences running lots of miles.
It's a love-hate. Yeah.
Okay.
Past grits, I've rolled my ankle twice on the first day. Like, I've done that twice.
Did you run today?
I did run today. I didn't roll my ankle, thank God.
Already off to a
Looking
good
up.
start.
But I am doing my challenge of how much money can I find and or generate from finding things for July. So today was actually a nice start.
I'm going to start sprinkling
What did
coins
you
outside
find?
his
I
door.
found 2 quarters, and so I'm up 50 cents on the first day.
All right, what are you going to spend it on?
I'm going to see how much I have at the end of the month.
Oh, and then buy one thing.
Buy an ice cream. It's going to be spent on ice cream treats.
He's going to go to the candy shop.
Yeah. Maybe I'll go to the one in Felt Kilwins.
I was thinking because it's 50 cent that you picked up.
Oh, that works too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make your pan.
But it also works if I
Okay.
want to get ice cream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. I don't know. What is, like when we were kids, ice cream, you probably could have gotten one for 50 cents.
Oh, yeah.
I like how you said when we were kids.
Okay, anyway. Back in the day when they used to have the pedal trucks.
Carl was a kid like 5 years ago.
Yeah, he's
know.
still a kid.
I am.
Who are we kidding?
All right, but now I'm guessing it's like $5 or something like that.
I like
And
that
ice
you don't.
cream?
I like that you don't know the price of ice cream.
I
but
will not buy it from a truck.
Yeah, but like when you go to Be More Licks, what's it cost?
That's like $5.
Yeah.
Okay.
It depends, yeah.
You wouldn't buy ice cream from a truck.
Do we need to go to Be More Licks today and get an ice cream just because it's the first day of grit?
Might have to. That's not a bad
No,
idea.
I think we need to make him get one from the truck
Yeah. We need to track down a truck.
I don't know.
with the faces on it.
Yeah. it's
You won't.
Patterson Park.
The
let's go.
pedo Patterson pedo truck.
He loves his children. I don't know if they're his own children, but he loves them.
He loves children. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't decide if it's less creepy or more creepy that there's multiple trucks and they're all the same. Like all the faces are the same on the truck.
I think he liked
like
his
that's
design.
that's a wrap that he made.
I mean, you know whose truck it is, and if it's selling a good product, that's you know when it's coming when you see those kids' faces.
Plus, it has that thing that goes, "Hello."
Yeah.
It does.
Turkey in the straw intermixed with a hello. It's what everyone wants to hear on a summer evening.
Usually he strolls by the office at like 4 p.m.
Oh, really?
Because that's
Oh, yeah, you hear
yeah,
that coming down Eastern Ave.
yeah.
Hello.
That's how you know it's summer.
Yeah.
We haven't heard him yet.
His grit just
Don't jinx
started.
it.
Yeah. All right.
So speaking of grit, we're gonna do a weekly challenge for an undisclosed prize.
I think it's a disclosed prize.
It is. Give it to me.
What was it? We disclosed it last year. I think,
And I
didn't
don't
we?
remember what it was that I said.
I think it was a $100 gift card to Running Warehouse.
That sounds right.
Is what we did
Every week?
I think each week.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a freaking deal.
So if you're in the Facebook group for Grit,
Or Instagram.
no, it was just a Facebook group, or make up their own rules.
Yeah.
And you post a picture of yourself. What were we gonna do next to an ice cream truck?
Yeah, it has to be next to an ice cream truck. You get bonus points for ones next to ice cream trucks with kids' faces on
yeah.
them. And they're not illustrations of kids' faces, they're photographs.
Yeah. And
Large.
Yeah, exactly.
No AI ice cream trucks, people.
No.
I'd love to see some AI. I will consider AI ice cream trucks. You got to be in there with it, though.
Yeah. Bonus points if you get a treat from the ice cream truck, I
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, so that's week 1.
Okay. And that would end, I guess, on Sunday. Well, this comes out Friday, so that would end on Sunday.
Yeah, so they have
You've
a
got the
chance.
weekend.
They have a chance this weekend
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah.
And then you'll post in the Facebook group that
Right.
they can also do it. So,
Right.
yeah, we don't even need to go into the following week's challenge.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you have a goal for Grit?
Me?
Are you doing the dice thing?
I didn't do the dice thing.
Okay.
I have
It was too dicey, let's be real.
I'm going to save the dice thing for Winter Grit. for
Okay.
for that to be. But someone did do that. I saw on their story that they did the dice thing, and maybe
Oh, really?
maybe that'll play into next week's challenge. But yeah, someone did it already for grid.
Oh, that's cool.
But
And the dice thing was whatever you roll is the mileage
yeah,
for your day,
it's
right?
in our story right now. You can
Yeah.
see it. You won't be able to see it by the time this podcast comes out, but
Okay.
unless they keep doing it. But
Do you have a goal?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
I probably want to be around like my normal 250.
Dang. That's...
What's your goal?
I wouldn't say I have one. I think 150 to 175. I don't want to put too much pressure on myself.
I've got a trick that I'm doing this time.
Yeah.
Okay, so today, very hot. Carl, you were out there.
Stupid hot.
Megan, you were out there. Robbie, you ran.
Yeah.
It was hot, right?
Oh, yeah.
So what I'm doing is I used to just, if I ran a little further out, I get that extra change in the run.
Mm-hmm.
But this time, I ran my 8 miles, and then after I finished my 8 miles, I did the rest of the way
Excuse me.
home. I used my walk, at my cool down walk.
Oh, okay.
So I'm including some cool down walk.
I think cool down walk is fine.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, but doesn't Strava like remove that from your run total?
Do they?
Yeah.
I don't
They
think
categorize it. Yeah, it's like
Yeah, so like
height,
it won't
walk,
be
run.
it won't be in like one easy to see.
Wait.
Yeah, but I'll just
You stop your watch and then you add the walk?
I ran my 8 miles.
Yeah.
Stopped my watch.
And the activity.
Rolled
Rolling your
over to walk. Started a new activity and walked home
Oh,
from there.
I'm glad I'm not following you on Strava then.
So
Just kidding.
so
I do
So
follow.
today, my Strava has the 8 mile run with a 0.59
Oh
walk.
gosh, what a oh, when I see those going through my feed, I just get angry.
You mean like the people that break up their workouts that have like the warm up
Yeah,
and then the
people who
Well, no, but a walk it's not
treadmill run, get out of here.
No, I'm gonna do my.
Oh, I'm
treadmill.
logging a
trying to
treadmill
treadmill
run.
run.
Treadmill
I know you
Yeah.
are, but I hate
Hater.
it. I hate it. Oh yeah, perfect. I want to see that you did.
Don't you? Yeah, but
2.5 miles on at 11:15 pace on the treadmill. Very cool.
but you use your watch and then it just automatically
Robbie
goes to
just
Strava.
alienated a ton of
Yeah.
ton of.
He doesn't have a treadmill, that's why.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, Strava is just I don't even check it anymore because it's just most of it's junk.
Did you drink
junk
your
activities.
element this morning,
Yeah,
Robbie?
I did drink
He
my
needs-
element this morning.
He needs a Snickers.
It's just dude. Unless it has a map, I'm not interested.
I can
What
give
if-
you a
what if
map
they
on
add
my
photos?
treadmill. My treadmill. Will
If I
give you
see
a
the
map.
Watopia, what is that? Is that a thing?
No, I can
see?
I can give you a map of Baltimore because I can run. I ran London, and it gives you a map of London.
Yeah, the Wahoo kicker.
Yeah, if I see any of those people,
You won't know.
fake avatars on I automatically just I try to unlike it if I could, but
Thumbs down.
give it a
Thumbs down.
negative. Like give it a negative. What's the Reddit? What do you call
You could
it?
just comment on it and say this
Yeah,
was a
give it a
trash
down vote.
run. You should start doing that.
All right,
Yeah,
maybe I
just
will do that.
Mean comments from Robbie on Strava.
Yeah, or you could get
Just
yourself
roast people?
Make a little one of those Gen emojis and be like a trash wheel, and just put a trash.
Oh,
wheel,
yeah.
in their
I
comment.
mean, I guess I could put
Just a trash bin,
A trash
yeah.
bin, yeah.
Good.
Maybe.
trash.
All right, let it be known if I follow you on Strava and I see a junk activity, you're getting trashed.
Trash can.
Junk.
I for real though, I never check Strava anymore because I think that's part of it is just having to scroll through all the
I mean, Strava doesn't
Races.
offer a lot of entertainment.
yeah. That's probably.
But then,
what I
how
need.
do you feel about when people take their Strava and they know you're not looking at it, so then they post it onto Instagram?
And they know you're not looking.
Like,
oh yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, I know you're not paying attention to me over here, but I want all my friends to know that I did this, and they slap it into Strava.
I mean, if it's a 20-mile run, there's a lot of, and you only get 5 kudos for it. I feel like you need to.
You got to put it on the gram.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I understand.
For a
it.
while, Jarrett was like it was like he would do it was before they had the overlay, and so he would just put a screenshot of his Strava workout, and Instagram was like, dude, if people want to follow you, they'll follow you on Strava.
Right.
All right, what do you feel about the overlay then? Is that any better if they
I-
put an actual
I-
picture with the overlay?
I actually love the overlay.
Okay.
I hate the trend that's going on where people are trying to do like the closed door. I thought about just as a joke because we have a glass door on my shower. Me going in the shower buck naked, and
naked,
closing the door.
yeah.
Wait, what's the
If
close?
you need help filming that.
So
right?
people they pretend they're going to get a drink out of the fridge at like a
Like
7-Eleven,
7-Eleven or something.
and then when they close the door, they put their Strava on it, so it looks like it's on a in a frozen door. But it kind of went nuts, and like everybody was doing it, and to the point where it would be funny now if someone did one when the door closed, the middle finger just pops out.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
That would be great.
Interesting. All right. Well, be prepared to get trashed.
Yeah, on your grip
And I follow
miles.
you.
Dude, I'd be excited. Please give me a trash can on my walk because I want that.
I will.
I want that.
That's
That
my goal.
engagement.
I want that interaction.
My goal is to trash you every day of grit.
Happy with that. But I was thinking that would be an interesting way to see how I can pad the numbers.
Yeah, I think that's fine because it's a cool down. I think when people always ask, oh, what counts for grit, and I think obviously running, or I think anything that's above and beyond what you normally do. Like if you're walking around getting groceries,
No, not like walking aimlessly, like counting your steps.
Right.
I don't think that should be part of it.
right. That's what I'm
No,
saying.
no.
But like
if
Nate's
it's
mom does a 3-mile walk a day.
Right.
Because she can't.
but
really
that's your
run.
exercise, right? If it's above and beyond your normal daily routine, there's people I think there's people who count like playing soccer for a rec league. That does
you
not
talking-
That's
count.
a different
Are you,
activity.
are you talking about Believe Run Club people?
Probably it
Believe
doesn't.
FC?
It doesn't count. That's a ridiculous.
I don't think
Yeah.
anyone's going to be using that.
It has to be intentional, is what you're saying.
Yeah, like I say in the running and walking space, no cycling. Just use common sense.
No elliptical.
No, get that out of here.
That doesn't count. Does that count? Is that even an exercise using an elliptical?
I've
Yeah,
never seen any.
cardio.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Have you ever seen anybody?
Here's how I know is because when I used to go to the gym when I was
Planet Fitness?
smoking, yeah, that's how I put it in quotes, the gym. When I was still smoking and like didn't care about anything, I would use the elliptical to feel like I worked out, but
It's
I don't
not-
think I actually did.
I
I've
think the
used it
elli-
when I was injured. Like I would cycle and then use the
I
elliptical.
kind of feel like I agree with Robbie in this case because I think once you get the momentum going on the
That's
elliptical,
what I'm saying.
it's doing the work for you, and you're just kind of like blah 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 blah.
Just doing this. Yeah. Where are you going? No one knows.
Yeah, I agree. It's almost the electric bike of workout.
It's the recumbent bike of workout machines. When you see the people with the flag sticking up on
Dude,
the
I saw 2 people on a bike, and I thought at first it was a child and an adult, like the child in the front basket. But as it got closer, it was like a double-decker. It was like recumbent bike in the front with regular bike in the back.
Huh?
And it was 2
Oh,
adults riding it.
really?
So, yeah, it looked insane.
like
And they did not look happy. Neither person was smiling.
How do you not smile on that?
I know. Like, I'd smile at people just to be like, yeah,
I-
I know I look ridiculous.
one
Yeah.
of those people is not doing work. They're like that is not an equal share of.
Well, here's my question: when you're going to buy it, what's the conversation? It's like I can't imagine going to make. You know, I'd really like.
That's
to
not
go,
something you buy. That
I'd
was
like-
gifted.
I'd like to go cycling with. No, you got to be into it.
No.
because they had the gloves. The
They
helmet.
found that at a weird
No.
like.
This is intentional. They're like, hey, we need to find an activity we can do together. I know. Let's get one bicycle for both of us.
So one person's just laying back
Yeah.
doing their thing, and then the other person's pedaling behind them,
Yeah,
like trying to power a light bulb or something.
Can you imagine the arguments on that thing?
I know. Turn left.
Wait, yeah. What if one person's going one way and the other person's going the other way? Do you wreck? Does the person in the front have steering capabilities?
It also brings up. I saw a meme of like a conjoined person, twins.
I think they're
guess.
still called twins.
Okay. Someone did a meme that I shouldn't have laughed at, but I did.
Yeah.
Where it said, "Who wore it better?" And they just showed this picture.
What was the? Oh, I got it. I think this is why I get dark content on Instagram
Because of the things Thomas says?
Yeah,
Probably.
You got to come to this podcast without your phone with you, so it doesn't get.
yeah.
Microphone.
That's why it knows I'm close to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. This podcast is off to a rough start.
And it's gonna be a long one.
And I mean this.
This is perfect for grit miles because if you ran till the end of this podcast today,
Got,
You got
20
23 miles
miles.
in the
Yeah.
book right there.
And I mean
Yeah.
this sincerely. Now that you brought that up, has there been a conjoined twin that has finished a marathon?
I do not think so.
I
Can you
don't
look
think
that
so.
up? Because that would actually be. That would actually be pretty cool.
Meg's looking it up.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think
My
that
guess
would be,
is no, but let's see.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Lars and Olaf,
What's
who
the?
joined at the hip and share a middle leg,
I
won.
swear, if it's faster than my marathon.
Won a marathon in 2009 with a time of 3:04:01.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's insane.
What?
You know what though? I'm trying to think.
This should be a bigger story. How has this? How
Wait,
we not-
let's make sure this is real.
And how do you have 3 legs?
No, I don't think they had.
That's what she said.
This is from
3?
2009.
I think I'm on the same side as you.
They
Okay.
had 3 legs. So you're saying I got
3 legs are faster than.
a 3-legged racer beat my
Dude, I
my
can't
PR
even
by a
imagine
good
this.
amount.
I'm like, I want footage. I want video footage.
Imagine the coordination.
It's weird because the site has 0 photos
What?
of them.
Really?
That sounds suspect.
But it looks like a news publication site, so it's not like just
Yeah.
a random blog or anything. So
All right, I'm gonna have to.
And
do
it's
it.
from 2009.
I
so
need to find next podcast guest.
Yeah.
I need to find more on
Lars
this.
and Olaf.
It sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Wait,
they have 2 hearts, 2 set of lungs, and
Oh,
only
that's not
3
fair.
legs.
If I had 2 hearts,
Wait,
I'd
this
be running
how would
faster.
that work? How does that work? Do you actually gain? Do you gain a superior advantage in that way?
I mean, 2 hearts?
I would think so.
Do that-
How many? Wait, how many legs?
3.
I wonder if anybody's run and didn't know they were conjoined twin. Like, you know, those people who have that extra tooth and it was going to form a head, but it didn't.
Yeah.
And, like, that person could take down
Someone
Lars
didn't
and
realize
Olaf.
they had a 3rd leg.
Yeah.
If you had a tail that balanced things out.
Okay. That would suck buying shoes, though.
Okay,
yeah,
they
that's
wear
true.
1 pair of size 10 running shoes on their outer feet and a size 12 on the middle foot.
No way, dude! How is this not a? How is this not a huge story that they should be
Because
world
it's like
famous?
2009.
Yeah,
You
2009.
should be world famous for
Yeah,
this
you
type
should
of thing.
be for winning a marathon as a conjoined person. Like that.
That's
Like
incredible. Okay, I'm gonna need.
yeah,
I'm
if
gonna
anyone
track.
knows them, track them
Nike,
down.
they should be Nike
Wait,
sponsored.
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Looking
don't
at the
even tell me.
published date,
Is this from the? Is this from National?
April 1, 2009.
We got joked.
Is this from National Enquirer?
It was from Mad Magazine.
Yeah. You think that that has to be it.
April 1, come
It has
on.
to,
It has to
definitely. Yeah, that's why there's no photos.
Yeah.
But with now, we can do it with AI. We can get a pretty good
We could probably
photo
get a good,
of Olaf and
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna research this a little bit more after the podcast.
I think you need to.
Yeah.
It's your new homework assignment for the week.
I'm not sure. I
I'd
believe
be
that's an
mad if-
April Fool's joke.
I would be mad if I was another conjoined person.
Yeah, that's a weird
that they're-
April Fool's post.
Yeah, because now what if you did run a marathon? You wouldn't like people would be like, I'm not sure they're the first.
I'm gonna have to do some research.
Well, okay. What would be the optimal setup to be conjoined person?
I think we need to move on from this
yeah.
topic.
We have a lot to
Yeah.
other
I'm
stuff to
editing this
cover.
podcast, so yeah, I'm keeping
Yeah.
time today.
All right.
Just cut it out.
Yeah. But do you
What?
think there's ever an alien that's run a marathon we just don't know about it?
Of course.
Yeah.
100%.
Hey,
All
has
right.
Dennis Rodman?
That's all I
run?
need to know.
Has Dennis Rodman done?
Feels like he has.
Then
Okay.
if he has it.
Well, speaking of extraterrestrials or out of this world, I should say, out of this world performans.
segue.
Solid.
Meg was in Paris last week.
yeah,
I
we
was.
almost all predicted the time.
Yeah, we were only off by seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, we were pretty close. to
What
the
did
time.
I predict the week before? Because didn't you say 406?
I don't know. I know I said 401 or something. I think I got close
All
to
right.
the... You were like 358 something.
I was trying to
You're-
be optimistic.
Yeah.
Here's the one thing I will say about the time, since we're talking right into that, is in the press release, in the press conference afterwards, she made a point to say she probably could have done a 402, 403 if she started out slower, but that was never the point of this whole endeavor. Is she wanted to try and break 4 minutes, so she went all in on the first lap and
Interesting.
ran 60 seconds. Because again, we weren't there to watch a 402, 403 performance. We were there to watch a sub 4 performance to see if it could possibly happen. So yes, she slowed down quite a bit in the end there, but it was kind of like she was giving it a shot.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So, Meg, you were there in person.
Yeah.
What was that like? I need
It
to
was
hear about
crazy. So so first of all, on the actual day, on Thursday, they took us to, they had a whole setup called Breaking4 HQ, which is where we sort of hosted most events. So that's where we got to hear from Iliad, that's where we got to hear from Faith, that's where we heard from her pacers beforehand. And inside this building, they had set up sort of these walkthrough areas to take a behind the scenes look at all the tech around her. So we walked through with the product team to talk about the 3D sports bra, the bodysuit, and obviously her victory.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
We get to see all the setups from the different brands. Do you feel like Nike does it better than anyone when showcasing their, like wrapping that whole tech around an event?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty impressive. And it's funny because, you know, this was such a moonshot attempt, and it was like, but by the time we got to the stadium, like you believed that this was going to happen. Like you wanted this to happen so much, and you believed it was going to happen because they explained all of the like resources and energy they put into this one event, that like you believed that this could potentially, we could see this insane performance.
Wow.
Yeah. But so we got a walkthrough of everything from the product team, just got to learn more about how they worked with Faith directly. And I think one of the coolest things was it always came back to Faith. Like everything they built came back to, how does Faith feel in this? Does Faith feel like can run faster in this? And so there is the obvious science behind it, like putting nodes on her bodysuit for the wind drafting. But it was also, is Faith comfortable in this? Does she feel confident in this? Which I thought was really cool, because at the end of the day, she's the one.
Well, how much do they think? Obviously, Nike thinks a lot of this is psychological.
Yeah.
So just getting to that point. And that was something that was interesting, because I was talking to somebody about it when we were in California, and they were like, it's interesting. I feel like with Kipchoge, he said, okay, Monza didn't have enough people there. Mm-hmm. Let's do it where I can have a lot of people there. And he wanted that. He wanted to feed off the energy of the crowd.
Yeah.
How much did you feel like when she came out in front of a stadium of people and you build up all this anticipation and hype? Do you think it was positive for her, or do you think that she would have done better in like a closed setting?
No, she absolutely wanted the hype from the crowd. In fact, every single Nike person there, their advice for us was make sure Faith can hear you. Like scream as loud as you can.
Oh, wow.
Because she wants to feed off of the energy of the crowd. And so that was like the main goal, is just like get as loud as you can and get as hyped up as you can for Faith, which was really easy to do in the stadium, because like we walked into the stadium and the whole place is branded Breaking4. Everything's purple, and like it was just such a cool environment to be in.
Robbie, you want a crowd for something? Like if you said, hey, I'm going to hit a new PR.
Yeah.
Do you want a big crowd or?
Oh, yeah, dude. Like as big a crowd as possible.
For real?
Yeah.
Okay. You?
Yeah. That's why I think the majors are so exciting, because like that's why I love New York City Marathon, because of the crowd.
Although I will say, when you start to break down, if things go sideways and you're going through Central Park and you're walking, like taking walk breaks up the hills.
Hey, believe in the walk. How you doing?
Yeah, it sucks, I will say.
Yeah.
There is nothing worse. Like, I don't think there is too many races where I had to walk for an extended period of time, but when I was with Jarrett at Boston, there was times like in the last mile where we're walking for 100 yards, and that feels feels painful, because you're just kind of exposed. You're in the middle of this road where there's people lying on both sides. Yeah, it does. It feels a little bit like the dream where you're at school naked. Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I was really curious about, and Robbie, we even talked about it before I left, is the pacing strategy was kind of left unsaid, like much of it.
Right.
And in the documentary that we watched on Amazon Prime, they did go into it a little bit, but it was funny because even the day before the attempt, the team was like, they're still kind of sorting it out. And they had 12 pacers. And
it looked a little wonky on the track.
it seemed a little bit like they were just running. It didn't seem quite as strategic as when we saw Iliad. Like, and mind you, obviously that's a lot longer of a distance.
Well, they had
and
like
more,
a laser thing on the ground.
So they did have the lights going around the track for the times that she was meant to hit, and the pacers could follow that. But they had guys in front of her, the side, and then behind her, and it wasn't at like a perfect, setup, kind of like we saw with Iliad, but they just surrounded her, which I think was pretty much the point.
This is actually what I want to talk about, because Steve Magnus,
The timing.
Not the biggest Nike fan, but from his past. But
Yeah.
he wrote a Substack article on the breakdown of the whole race, which is pretty interesting. And he was talking about the pacing, and he was saying maybe from a drafting perspective it works well with how they were spaced out. But he said he was saying that from a mental perspective, when you have that gap in between yourself and the next runner, it really, he basically said, so he said, when you're riding the line, it's easier to do so when you're latched onto the person ahead of you. It feels like you're in the race and getting dragged along. So you get to zone out because you're attached to that person. But when there's a gap, your mind exploits it. So it reminds you that you're not right on them, convinces you that you're falling off or fading. It changes your perception.
You're saying when she dropped the pace, they should have dropped with her?
Or not even that, but there was still a gap. Even before that, from the beginning, there was a decent gap between her and the next runner. And you had Grant Fisher beside her, but between the runner in front of her. And he says, another thing he says, when he's had his own athletes watch video of races where a small gap formed, they often respond by saying, it felt so big in the race, but looking at it now, it seems so small.
Yeah, not that I ever am going to try a sub 4-minute mile.
Right.
But just in regular, when I've had someone pace at a marathon, the good pacers are the ones that kept close and would pull me up slowly into the pace that we're trying to achieve, rather than, oh, here's the pace we're trying to achieve, I'm just going to run that and go gap you by 2 feet. That 2 feet feels like you're struggling, and then your brain starts going, I'm not keeping up, and this is getting hard. I mean, Megan, you've run with me and pace. I as soon as it starts to go negative, it starts to spiral. But I've run with pacers that are really good, that will find a way to get on your hip and be like, come on, let's just increase it a little bit at a time and move it, and then you get into the spot and you feel successful and you feel like you're hitting it, versus feeling like you're falling behind, and it's easy for the other person to maintain that pace, and you're like doing everything you can to Chris Hogger to keep up with them, and they start running backwards and come on, man.
Well,
it's
even
so easy
in that last lap, obviously she went for it and was fade. The third one's always the hardest, and then she started to fade. But even then, you had the dudes running like 200 meters ahead of her almost. I was like, what the hell?
I'm not sure if their instructions were to keep with the lights or to stick with her. And that's like, this is the one piece of the whole production that I felt like wasn't perfected ahead of the race. And I'm sure that they have this figured out way more than we do talking about it, but like they all started like straight across and then got into formation. I'm like, none of this is legit. Why wouldn't they start in formation?
Right, like you're doing the chip time versus it's all right. Who gives a shit? Just do it.
They're not giving time. Do you feel like there'll be another attempt, or do you think?
I feel like there has to be, because one of the main themes throughout this whole thing was having Iliad there. Obviously, they're friends, and that's partially why he was there. He's like a mentor to her, but also to talk about how he didn't do it the first time, and it took a second time.
But Faith is the person?
I think so. I think what's super exciting right now as well is this didn't defeat her at all. Like, she's more amped up than ever, and she's going to race this weekend.
Oh, wow.
And so I think seeing what she can produce in a real race now that she's gone through this experience will be really fun to watch.
Well, what's interesting is Kipchoge did a marathon distance, so they had to kind of build in time in between the attempts. In a track mile, I wonder what the recovery, what the
Yeah, I have no concept of it.
Yeah.
So like, what is the?
Like, could have they done it again the next day?
Well,
and
so
the next day?
I think physically that all makes sense, but I think you have to factor in the production value of this whole event
right.
and like her psychological, like, do you want to put all this, like, again, I think probably it would make sense to do it a year later anyway, even if physically she could do it in a month.
But that's the thing. Are you losing, like, in short distance and speed, time is your enemy as far as, like, how long you can run. They're spreading out the distance in the marathon, so even you're seeing 40-year-olds do even better than maybe a 30-year-old in the marathon. Like, but that's not the case in short distance.
Right. I would
Yeah.
say generally, yeah.
So,
For sure.
like, is it sooner better?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see. My gut says still be a little while, but I'm just, like I said, I'm excited to see her race in real competitions coming up. I think that'll be really exciting to see.
Did Kipchoge do any racing in between the two? Like, he ran other marathons, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I feel like he did
Yeah, because it was a
Berlin.
year, at least a year in
Yeah.
between. What was the temperature at the race?
It was warm, but it was the coolest day of the week while we were there. I
Okay.
think it was probably high 70s, low 80s,
Okay,
which they said for her was great.
It's a
Like, no
mile,
one was
yeah.
She's from
concerned
Kenya,
about
right?
it.
Right.
Yeah.
right.
But it was interesting because, like, the night before there was crazy thunderstorms, and the day before that it was super hot. So it was like kind of a
Okay.
really lucky scenario.
Carl, you remember when we were in Kenya, it was 50 degrees, people wearing jackets and
Jackets,
tights.
long tights,
Yeah.
gloves. Yeah.
70s probably right up
Right.
your alley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, first check-in. You're running Son of Grit, hopefully. If you're not, you're still running in the heat and everything like that. But this is fun. Like, you're in the beginning. It's still new. It's still fresh. You can get those miles in. Hopefully, you're feeling good. Just remember to take care of yourself. If you want to finish this challenge, you need to pamper yourself. And I'll get into that in the next check-in.
Did you actually meet her? Or
I not like one-on-one.
Yeah.
So she came to that, like I was mentioning earlier, that Breaking4 headquarters that we stayed for all of the events. She came a couple times, and so we got to hear her talk. And most of those events were 50-ish people, so it wasn't like a huge
Right,
group.
right. That's cool.
But it was no one-on-one.
That brings a question to me. How did it feel? Like, I was really psyched that the number of media people was not that big, and we were kind of in a very small group of people chosen to be there to witness it. As our female
Correspondent.
how did it feel to be included in something like this?
Oh, it was so cool. This is a memory I'll never forget. But it was funny because I befriended some of the guys from Sidious Mag who were there, and other outlets, and everyone felt the same. It was kind of like, we can't believe we get to be here.
That's cool.
This is really cool. And so I think we all kind of bonded over that. But yeah, it was just a cool, like, experience.
And did you test out the smoking rules in Paris?
Yeah,
Or not?
I need to know.
'Cause that's the most important
I
thing.
did not,
Carl
and I was thinking, like, there was a decent amount of people smoking, not
Oh,
a ton,
okay.
but I
Was Faith one of them?
Yeah, she smoked a couple cigs beforehand.
I was thinking when she finished, she's like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, I do have to. Okay, so the Pacers that came out were like a stud group of
Yeah.
dudes.
Of course.
From Nike, and the press conference that was held after the event was in like a little building next to the stadium, but next to that building was a track, and we could view the track from inside this press conference room. And in the middle of this press conference, you just see these dudes flying by, and all of the Pacers were doing a workout after
Oh, really?
pacing. And so we all left and walk outside, and it's just like Grant Fisher and all the guys just like sprinting around the track doing
Yeah.
a workout. And it was like,
Wow.
I'm like, this is the coolest
That's
thing ever.
crazy.
But
Craig
yeah.
Angles, shotgun
Yeah.
and beers.
Yeah, he was leading the charge, telling everyone to give him cheers during their workout.
That's cool.
They also gave you a new shoe.
Yeah. So upon arrival, I got the the Vomero Plus.
It looks like bubble gum.
Yeah, it's bright pink. It's basically
Is it just the Vomero with more cushion?
More
it's
Zoom
all
It's all
it's,
Zoom-X.
It's all Zoom X.
It's
That's
all
right. There's
Zoom
no
X.
React
It's
X.
higher
Yeah, yeah.
stack, and it's a softer. It's basically
It's the
if you want a
Invincible.
cushier. Yeah.
Yeah, because the Invincible is no more. That's gone.
Right.
It's gone.
It's the Vomero Plus.
Yeah.
You know what I love about the look of this shoe, though? It kind of takes that Air Max look, like the lines and striping on the side, and combines it with the Vomero. I think it's a pretty shoe.
Yeah, I mean, and you see it out on the streets because we did a group run. What morning was that? That was the same. That all happened in one day. The Thursday that she did the attempt in the morning, we did a group run with 8 lines, which was insane. Like it was your group run, but just think. And typical biker with a boombox backpack on, but just taking over the streets of Paris. Like,
Oh, wow.
just no care of the cars, just in the middle of the streets running. And they're like chanting the whole time. And it was like
Like Gregorian chants?
no,
the
there's
song?
a lot of Breaking4 chants.
Right back to...
We figured out the song. What was it?
Not Enya.
Oh man, no. Oh, sorry. Because we were talking about that song on the podcast
Yeah.
a couple weeks
I
ago,
know.
and we
Oh.
figured it out. All right.
We'll figure that out.
But anyway, so you had all these bright pink, and there's a bright orange colorway for the guys of the Vomero
All right.
Plus.
And I asked you, I said, Meg, are they any good?
And I said yes.
You
I'm
said, no, you
obsessed.
said, yeah, that's what you
Oh,
said.
really?
Obsessed.
I mean,
Yeah.
I did every single run in Paris in this shoe.
Okay.
So, yeah, I can probably do a full review at this point because
Where
I
would
have
you
at least
put this? Okay, how many miles?
at least 45 or so.
Wow. And where would you put this in your Max Cush collection?
This is like compared to other Max Cushion
Yeah.
shoes. I mean, it's up there. It's pretty high.
Like, does this have potential to be one of your top for the year?
Oh yeah, for sure. The only thing is if we get the Vomero, which I know we're going to in September.
The premium?
The premium, that shoe was insane.
Did
Okay.
you wear it?
Yeah.
Oh.
But the difference is that when we were in California, we did the beer mile, and the woman that I came in, I finished dead last, and she finished dead last, and we started talking, and she works for Nike, and she was like, I was asking her about, I told her that you just wore the premium and that how you were excited about it. And she goes, we're getting mixed reviews on that one, and she was from Nike telling me that that she wasn't sure that.
Everyone at this event was hyped on it, and they said that it was Faith's favorite recovery shoe.
And you wore the premium?
Yeah, so they had sample size, which is a women's 8. So I just took it out in the streets of Paris and did a little jog and came back.
Could there be? Why
I am
didn't you get
highly
that on video.
I am highly skeptical. I will say.
And why didn't you? Okay, are you sure you weren't drinking a little bit of the Nike juice while you were there?
I mean, we were surrounded
juice.
by
Yeah.
by
Sure shit I've
swooshes.
ever had.
No, I mean, you know me. That's like that's my style shoe.
Yeah.
Is crazy high stack. I mean, it has
50
air bubbles and
what is it?
Zoom X.
55,
45.
Wild.
Yeah, it's 2.2 inches of stack height.
It's crazy.
Which is amazing because now my dreams of NBA stardom are gonna take effect.
Yeah.
It really did
You'll
feel
make it.
like trampolini. Like it felt like
I wonder if that
Is it heavy
could
as-
make it into the NBA.
it didn't feel that heavy. I thought the Pegasus felt heavier.
Ah, interesting. I
The
was gonna ask
Pegasus
you that.
Premium.
premium.
Premium,
Pegasus
correct.
premium. Okay, here.
How come
I
you
didn't
video
didn't
your
weigh
feet
it.
and do
I
all
have
that?
video of me trying it on and stuff. It's in
Okay.
we're doing a full recap video of my entire trip in Paris, which will be on YouTube if anyone's interested.
Yeah. We're gonna put Kanye's soundtrack to it.
Yeah, this should go over well in so many ways. You know what? I will say the Vomero 18. I thought that's actually one of my favorite
That's a good shoe.
shoes. I don't think you liked it that much, but I love that shoe. I took it out like last week, and I was like, this shoe's great.
I liked the feeling, hated the look.
Okay,
That's the one with the
But you
little,
like the look of
it
that?
looks the same
Yeah.
as that almost.
That's ridiculous. They look very
Wait,
similar.
I'm thinking maybe which Vomero am I thinking about where it was black and blue?
no, you're.
I
that's
like that one.
That's last year's version.
Oh, you're talking about the latest one. Yeah, I like it. I don't love it.
Yeah, I felt like I'm not sure that I'll like the shoe. It might be too soft for me. I wasn't a big fan of the Invincible for that reason as well.
I think I'll like this one. But I didn't like the Invincible
think
because of the shape of the
This has got some good bounce to it. I think you got to give it a try.
I mean, I will,
Yeah.
yeah. I think the Zoom X with the React X of the Vomero
is a good combo.
is a good combo.
I agree with you.
But, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I felt like the Vomero 18 was nice, but it wasn't like it didn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Like,
good. I just think it's a good trainer.
Yeah, I don't know that I would pick it over anything else.
And like I feel like you would do the Vomero 18 for more daily training, and then this for more recovery. Although I would use this for daily too, but this is just going to be that more plush like.
So what I didn't
Right.
like about the Invincible was it's kind of like curved on the sides even. So it was like kind of like it was like there was no.
Oh, yeah, the thing.
Not stable.
Yeah.
Interesting.
This one looks more. It looks similar to the Vomero 18.
Yeah.
And the
And-
Invincible was the loudest shoe ever made.
It was loud.
It
It was
so
loud.
And surprisingly kind of heavy.
It was very heavy. But I have 500 miles on the 3, so.
Do you really?
Wow.
Yeah, dude, I
I didn't
really,
realize you wore that shoe that much.
I really did like the 3. So.
You're going to
you-
like this
I-
one.
Are you so if there was no like seating for you for shoes, are you a Nike guy?
When I trained for Amsterdam, I did do a full Nike like rotation. So I raced in the Vaporfly 2s, which still hold my current PR for the marathon, and then I just did the Peg 39 and the Invincible 3, and I did the whole training block up to race day in that, and yeah, really enjoyed it. So.
What's it weigh, Robbie?
For Meg's women's 7.5, it's 8 ounces.
That's fine.
So it would probably be
12.
no.
8 ounces for Meg 7.5.
For men's 10.5, yeah, it's gonna be like 12.
That'll be 11 maybe.
11.
11.5.
I mean, the
the
Vomero 18
Vomero-
right now is like 11 something. Isn't
Yeah.
it?
The Vomero was
It might be on that shelf.
yeah, it was 11.4 for a men's 10.
Yeah.
My guess is it's not going to be much more than that.
The
So
premium.
you might be
more,
right.
but, yeah.
It might be 12.
Yeah, the premium's
That's gonna be
definitely
heavy,
that's
but-
gonna.
The premium has to be 13 ounces, right?
it has
for
to
a
be.
10.5.
I saw on,
Is
so they didn't tell me there, but I looked online and they said it was a 12 ounces for I think a men's 9 or 10.
Yeah, that's
Dude,
gonna
that-
be 14 ounces for a size 10.5.
The Peg premium in your size is like 12 something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you think that the premium Vomero is going to go toe to toe with the Prime X 3?
That's kind of what they're lining it up to be, right?
I would.
Well, there's no plate in.
But there's air bubbles.
but there's no plate.
yeah.
Does it feel like it has a plate because of like the way that sometimes they encase those air bubbles?
I didn't spend enough time in it, but it did feel like you got that pop, I think, from the air bubbles. And I asked about Zoom X because I was like, all these brands are shifting from PBA, PBACs to
ETPs
yeah.
or ETPs.
So the Zoom X that is in the Vomero line and in the non-racing shoes is a TPE. But Zoom X in race shoes is obviously the PBACs. And when I asked if that was going to change and they were going to shift, they said more of the focus was putting more air into shoes because that's their like proprietary like differential among racing shoes versus changing up the foams, but they were not opposed to testing out new foams. So it was a very vague answer, but
Yeah.
but I feel like
4.
Yeah.
Full ETPE. Yeah.
but I think we're going to see more air in more of their shoes, which
I
is
love that.
fun. Yeah.
I mean, if it works, it works.
Yeah.
And I was one of the people that enjoyed running in the Pegasus Premium. So,
That shoe is pretty divisive.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I was not a big fan, but
I went in with here's the difference. Because I got it really early and I took it out of the box without even doing any measurements or anything like that, I went into a kind of blank slate without any preconceived notions. And I remember that run. I had a great run in it.
it feels really good. It feels bouncy and fun, but it just felt heavy to because it
Yeah.
is. But
Well,
I
after
get
I
it.
found
mean, I
out
get
the
it.
weight, it changed my perception of the shoe too.
Yeah. All right. So, is there anything else?
No, I mean, like I said, we're going to do a full recap video of Paris. So if you want to see all the fun stuff I did outside of the stuff with Nike. I will say we had a lot usually our lunches were our free time. I had some of the best ham and cheese sandwiches of my entire life.
Okay.
So you need to go to BDT
Okay.
and get
Alright.
a ham and cheese sandwich on
Noted.
baguette. So
I know
good.
she sent me pictures, but like I would think you maybe learned how to make them and could bring them back, and maybe I would have a lunch.
Yeah, Meg,
They
get
don't-
on it.
We don't have the same.
Office lunch.
Make Thomas lunch.
The ham over there is very different than what we have
Oh,
over
yeah,
here.
I'm sure.
Like
You went ham on it.
the cheese and everything just tastes
That
better
is true.
over
It's
It's
there,
not Oscar Mayer over there.
right? Ugh,
So you're saying it wasn't a Lunchables, is what you're saying.
No nitrates.
quite different. Yeah.
I still don't know who eats Lunchables. Like, I know people do, but they're super expensive for what they
Children.
are.
Like my boys used to beg me for those,
But I know, but it's so ridiculous.
and I would get them
It's
every
like
once in a while.
it's like a McDonald's Happy Meal. It's probably
Except
ridiculous,
it's
but
cold.
yeah, but when
I
you
get
get
it.
I think you get a little bit of street cred when you bring it into lunch
You absolutely
at school.
did.
I
And
know
it was
you
like,
do, but I hate it.
Snap!
It's got Lunchables. What candy did you get? The M&Ms? Oh, shoot.
I think I'm just mad because I never.
Did you have a plastic
got
stick
one.
to spread the cheese on your stuff?
I think so.
Oh, the cheese, the Handy Snacks cheese with the crackers. That was
Ugh.
nice growing up. Yeah.
thinking about some of the stuff we ate and we're still alive right now is
Dude,
impressive.
canned cheese? That was like a staple.
Canned cheese?
Still
The-
is
like
good.
Hormel?
Just no,
Oh,
the
like cheese.
Cheese
Whiz?
whiz.
Cheese whiz.
Cheese whiz.
Oh, yeah.
That-
yeah, but it's not. It's like it's not really Cheese Whiz.
It
I guess
is.
it is.
I think that's a brand name.
I don't, yeah.
You squirt it out of the
Yeah.
Canned
whipped
stuff.
cream or
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, it's got a little pinpoint now.
Yeah.
More
Yeah.
accurate. Yeah.
That's good.
I
I would
mean-
still
on
eat
some
it.
Ritz crackers.
You gotta say, Nike's got a lot of innovation with the air. The guy who came up with
cheese
cheese
whiz.
in a can, like,
so far ahead of
think
the time.
about pitching that to your boss. Cheese.
But if
in
you
a
think
can
about it,
that
that's when
sprays
America.
out.
That's when America was doing some great stuff.
We're
We were
going to the
innovating.
moon. We went to the moon.
Yeah.
Like I'd imagine it kind of came around probably about the same time. Maybe they thought it could be space food
Yeah.
originally. And what
Then
have we done?
They went up to space and the can exploded.
What have we done since? Seriously, what's been the last great food invention? Now they're just putting cereal flavors into everything. Fruity Pebbles syrup. That's not even worth my time, honestly.
That's a good question. What is the most innovative food in the last 10 years?
Like they're just combining flavors now. You got the Oreos with 65 different flavors. Some I
You're
like.
saying we've
some
run
I
out of
don't.
ideas?
Yeah, there's no innovation. It's just slapping flavors
Yeah.
together.
What are two things you like eating? Together they are.
Yeah.
Canned cheese was 1965, by the way.
Was it?
Wow.
Think about that, man. Like, there was people still, I don't know, like without electricity back then, probably.
Think about there were cars without airbags and seatbelts,
Yeah. Dude, I saw this thing.
but you could get cheese in a can.
You could smoke in hospitals.
By the way,
Yeah.
Thomas, you know what I'm talking about. I saw this thing the other day, and it showed a thumb with the ring burn on it, and it was like every kid who grew up in the 80s knows exactly how this can smell this image. When you put push in the lighter on the station wagon and you pull that out, you have to touch those rings at some point.
Well,
And when
and I knew a girl that gave herself, like, she would heat up the Bic lighter.
Oh
and
yeah,
give herself
and then
the
give the big
smiley
burns.
face. Yeah.
I never did that, but when you see
she was a little weird.
when you see the light, like at one point in your life, you have to touch the cigarette lighter in the car just to see what it feels like,
Yeah.
To believe that it's actually red hot.
and it hurt.
Yeah, it's a brand.
Yeah. I have a blister peeling off right now from burning myself last
I
week.
also, when you used to put the glue on your hands and then peel off.
Oh yeah, I could do that all day. You should
Right?
you should get a jar of glue for the office just to do that.
Okay.
Because of productivity. I need a glue break.
Honestly, that would help me during the podcast from fidgeting around. I could just put glue on my hands and then just do that the whole
Well,
time.
I always felt that it cleaned your hands as well, because whatever dirt or grease would be on your hand, the glue would adhere to, and as you peeled it off.
And when you scraped it off,
Yeah,
yeah.
you
Oh, it's basically a better
Dirty
version.
bits.
It's a better version of soap, really.
Yeah, it really is. I don't
Tastier
understand.
version, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever eat glue?
I'm not going to disclose that here.
I don't
Okay.
know if Carl ever disclosed whether he ate paper because we disclosed that for ourselves.
I didn't eat paper.
You didn't?
No, you did.
You're the only one that did.
I ate paste.
Oh, you're
Much higher on the food chain.
yeah. You're missing out, man.
I was
It's luxury, man.
I was gourmet. You were eating white bread of school supplies. I was going to the caviar.
It was just a period in my life when I was in first grade, but after that, I kind of grew out of it.
The problem with the
Okay.
paste is a little bit is sweet, but a lot of it is not.
Okay.
Kind of how paper is.
But you kind of get more and more excited.
I did try loose leaf one time. like the school college ruled.
Oh yeah.
And
I think it's
yeah.
a little fancy for paper.
Yeah, it wasn't as good. I think I'm gonna go back to the wide line.
Go back.
See what that does.
Currently, go back. This is a.
Yeah.
Why not?
What we should do this like they do tobacco. Like there's pouches of paper.
Paper zins.
Paper zins.
Yeah,
Soaks that in nicotine.
Loose leaf that you roll your own.
We could call it loose leaf. Like
Yeah, loose leaf.
that's good branding right
That's
there.
actually not bad.
And we could flavor the paper.
Yeah.
All right, no one take that idea. So.
Shoot, we should stop saying these things on air because
I
people
know.
are gonna.
Yes,
Yeah.
such good ideas.
Dude, you're gonna see it and you'd be like, "Pfft." Hey, we were the first to say someone should go do a moonshot for the women to do.
That is
sub-4.
true. We talked about the sub 4 mile months
It was
ago.
in the works.
You think so? Did you
Yeah.
ask him?
Yeah,
Did you? You didn't ask. You didn't say, hey.
I did. I brought it up on my initial
When
call
did it-
with them when they were like, "Hey, do you want to come?" I was like, "Yeah, it's funny because we were talking about this," and she was like, "Yeah, it's been in the works for a long time." In fact, there was an
That's
article.
what I would say if
A
I was in
long
their legal
time.
See your
department.
face. Yeah, it's PR
Yeah.
talk right there.
Okay,
All right. Well, let's throw something else. Let's think
All
of
right, I
something
guess
else.
let's talk about the Western States.
Let's talk about the hot
endurance.
tub boys.
Wow. It was this. I have to say, the first time was good, but it was we were kind of learning what Western States was about.
And we had done Broken Arrow a couple days before, so we were kind of already kind of tired.
But this time, I still think we could do, if we get invited back the third time, I think we even know more tricks.
I
But
think so too. Yeah.
This one, like, I felt like we got around and it was definitely more exciting. We got more emotion out of it.
For sure. For sure.
So you fly in on Wednesday. You meet up with the team. You guys got an Airbnb, and then
We met up with the now head of Dirt Division, Taylor Bodine, lead trail reviewer, or
Trail Daddy.
he was already there.
yeah, but we met up with him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he did TrailCon.
Yeah,
Yeah, we did a little shakeout once we checked in, which
with our new friend,
Reese?
yeah, Reese Ruland,
Yeah.
who is a phenomenal female trail athlete.
very good.
And I mean, she can keep up with
Oh,
Taylor
nice.
on the trail.
Really?
So,
Wow.
Or I don't.
I mean,
yeah,
better
She's
than us for sure.
much better.
I mean, during the shakeout run, she's like, or not shakeout, but we ran to the village just to say, like, just check it out and everything.
This was rough. So we get. I'm like, we should go stop by the Hoka outpost
coffee bar, at the coffee bar.
at the coffee bar and say hello. We got off the plane. Let's just jog. It's 1.5 miles to get there. 1.5 miles back. We can get 3 miles in. No
Yeah.
big deal.
Is this in Palisades or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we jogged from our rental house, the Lagoon Sleep Station, and Pillar Palace.
They hooked you guys up.
Yeah.
Pillows for everyone.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I feel bad that we didn't give more coverage, but everybody got to fill out who was staying in our house, which was Reese, Justin, Hall, Taylor, Bodine, Carl, Creepy Carl, and then myself. We all got to fill out the questionnaire, get the perfect pillow for us.
And all of you were what?
All of us were otter. Justin was a fox.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
What does
Bunch
that
of-
mean? Is it
bunch
like
of
a firmer?
otters.
I don't know.
I don't know. I would have to find out.
I have to
but
take the quiz and try and get that.
yeah, we were. What is a group of otters called?
A group of otters.
No,
Otters is
there's got to be like a covey of water dogs or something.
Yeah.
water dogs.
Group of otters.
It's called a romp.
A romp.
Dude, that's cool.
Okay.
I got a bevy, lodge, or family.
This is group of otters on land.
Oh.
Oh.
I like bevy.
I like rump.
Okay.
So there was a rump with a fox
Uh-huh.
staying at the house.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, the house was it was in between the two houses that we had last year.
It was good. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was bougie, but
Yeah.
the first place that we stayed with Robbie and he did the walkthrough.
Was the bougiest of
that
them all.
one-
Well, because that was on like the mountain, and like you were able to kind of see things, and it was just
It was a little more
scenic, I guess.
secluded too. And,
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
felt- yeah.
So you did the run. What's the deal with the
a
run?
gas, man. So
Okay.
I was like, maybe it's because we got up at like
4 a.m., yeah.
to get to our plane.
Oh yeah.
We've been on a plane all day. We
Yeah.
get out and we're running, and it's slightly uphill to the.
And you're at
to
altitude.
the,
Yeah, exactly.
altitude. And it's probably 70 degrees or so when we
It was
go.
pretty high. It was it was like right in the middle of the day. It was like 3 o'clock.
Yeah. Like we run to the village, and I'm like gassed when we get down.
Me
like,
too.
Like sweat, like the works.
And then Reese is like talking to us,
But
trying
yeah.
to like conversate. I'm just like, we can't talk. We're like not responding to her. And
Yeah. So we get there, and of course, everybody's like Dylan Bowman and the crew, Corinne, and
Does that guy actually sleep?
I don't think
Tim
so.
told
Not
us.
that
No,
weekend.
No,
Okay.
they don't sleep there that weekend.
dude, they were. I'm thinking they did Broken Arrow too. I'm not 100% sure.
I think they
but-
covered
They
it.
did.
And they
And
had
TrailCon.
And then they had TrailCon.
What?
And I'm going to tell you something. From the moment, so we get to the outpost, and I want to say hi to Alex and those guys, but the doors closed because of recording. Those guys, I know at least from that point when we saw them, you could hear Dylan Bowman talk the entire time until the end of Western States. Like, we're talking 5, and I know he probably did this for Broken Arrow and probably had a lot of talking for TrailCon.
Dude, that's crazy.
Like, I don't know how he does it. Like,
That's so much
It's a tough.
mental energy, and you should gave him a lagoon pillow, honestly.
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, think about, he's actually talking about stuff. Like, we can ramble for an hour or two.
Right.
But he is actually doing, like, details, talking
Oh, yeah.
about athletes.
Athletes,
their
yeah.
subject
Specs,
matter.
yeah, numbers, just a bunch of recalling previous years and all that stuff.
And
Like,
doing,
Yeah, I could barely remember our own Believe in the Run.
I know,
right.
reviewers.
And he's bringing in, athletes to talk to, and he knows all their, like, they really are an incredible
what they're
resource for
doing.
the trail. I mean,
Yeah.
it's insane that, he's doing this. But
Yeah.
they were obviously recording when we got there, so I didn't get a chance to say hi to anybody. So we're like,
Yeah.
whatever. We walked around the village for a second, just saw some of the booths. So I saw Yeti from Mounted
Coast was
Coast,
there, yeah.
and some of the other, there was just different people setting up. They were setting up the Fly Lab, but it wasn't ready yet.
Right.
So we turned around, we ran back. It was slightly easier because it was slightly downhill, but it still wasn't
still sucked.
easy.
Yeah.
I went to bed that night because I knew we had the shakeout in the morning, and I was like, I'm panicked. Like, I'm like, am I going to be able to breathe tomorrow?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Luckily for us, I was okay.
You should have slept in one of those oxygen tents or something.
Well, we were at altitude already, so that wouldn't help.
Oh, wait, yeah, that's
But, just more or less oxygen.
Yeah, that'd be even
Oh,
worse.
Yeah. I mean, the first night, it was great. Justin, I guess he comes from a cooking background at some point.
Yeah, he went to culinary school. He worked in restaurants, so
Yeah.
we did tacos, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
So we went to
nice.
the grocery store, picked up a bunch of stuff. He grilled some chicken. It was good.
All right,
Ate
cool.
outside. It was nice.
And I have to say, like, I can grill chicken. My chicken's okay. But I don't know. I guess he
He did a good job?
Yeah, he did a good job.
Okay, nice.
Very,
job.
yeah, very nice.
Nice to have a chef in the house.
It
Yeah,
was.
It was great.
And were we kind of early that night, or was that a regular night?
A regular night of hot tubbing.
Well, we didn't do the hot tub.
I got
Okay.
some photos from Justin of you guys that
he never
didn't
sent
make
those to me.
that
I didn't
didn't make the
know
internet.
I think they just went straight to Meg.
Of course.
Wait a second, though. Was the hot tub night that night? It might
No,
have
is
been.
it? No. Pretty sure.
All right, so
Yeah.
All right.
let's do the next. So you did the next day was a
Shakeout
shakeout
run.
run because there's a lot to cut.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what.
Next
The-
day was a shakeout. Thank you, Robbie, for doing my job.
Yeah.
Yeah, the shakeout
Actually,
run.
Meg's job.
The next morning. I mean,
It was great.
Yeah, we did it last year, and there was definitely more people this year.
There's more people, but it was also, I don't know what it was this year. I felt more welcomed into the space. Like there
It's
was
because you got Taylor with you.
Maybe. That's
Maybe.
what I was thinking.
we had
or more official.
yeah, more official. But it was a great group in the morning. We got to meet and talk to people, and it was just a lot of fun and like gorgeous, like 40-degree weather.
Oh,
I was
man, the
so
weather was
jealous
so
of the
good, dude.
weather.
Dang,
Oh,
dude.
man.
Yeah.
40
I can
degrees.
understand why people live there. Like, it's 40 degrees in the morning, so you're like sweatshirt, cool, drinking your coffee, and then as the day goes on, you're in shorts and stuff.
That was shocking to me when we were there last year, where we
You'd be
same
cold
thing
in the morning,
You
yeah.
like have a sweatshirt on, and then you go down to the village with a sweatshirt an hour later, and you're like, oh, it's so hot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like
75
80
degrees by noon.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But it's
Yeah.
like dry heat, so it's nothing like Baltimore at the time.
No, it was just
It was like,
And
good,
this was
it
one
good
of
summer heat.
one of our more busy days. So we finished up, did the run, threw out put the reel together, probably went back to the house real quick and kind of like changed. And
Yeah, we just did a little bit. Then we came back to do the
Yeah.
Fly Lab, so that was already up, and they did a great job. It was
Yeah,
a
the-
cool thing.
Dude, I can't believe, like, it's a substantial, it's not like a flimsy thing. It's like
What's the point of it?
6x6 or 6x4 boards, like really thick. What's the
they-
point of it?
They
It's
were showing the Afate X, right? That was like the
Yeah.
star.
Oh,
shoe,
so it's
I
just like the
guess.
behind the scenes product stuff.
Yeah,
There's a-
try-ons,
Yeah.
demos.
yeah,
and-
if you went in, you had everything from a little station where you could try on the shoes. There was lockers for storing your shoes while you were out on the trail trying them. There was a breakout of the shoes, so you had the plate, the foams, all that stuff laid out.
They had a wall that was like the history of their like
Okay.
brand and trail. So they had some cool like stuff like that.
And then a couple of our guys, even the guy who's a local rep here in the DC area was there, and you could take a map, and if you ran the map, you could pick out whether you wanted a fanny pack or they had ice handkerchiefs. So I got myself
nice.
an ice handkerchief.
Very good.
I've always wanted one of those.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I mean, does it work? Hey, did you use it?
I haven't used it yet. I didn't
Okay.
put ice in it.
Yeah.
I just used it to look cool. Debatable.
Yeah.
But if you want to try it, I'll let you try it.
Okay.
They had to redesign it. Originally, they put a little snap, but when you fill it with ice, it would unsnap. So they just made it like a regular bandana where it ties.
Oh.
And that works
Probably
better.
smarter. That's
Yeah.
probably smarter.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then we had the afternoon free, so I think we went back for a little bit, and then
I know. I want to hear about the beer
Shock
mile.
Wagon Beer Mile year 2.
Yeah.
I didn't do it, but Thomas did, Taylor did, and Reese attempted.
Okay, so even just getting started, there's a little bit of nervousness because I know what's coming. Like, it's not like I haven't done a beer mile before.
Yeah.
I know
It's
I'm
awful.
I'm not good at chugging, and I'm not that fast. So it's not going to be like. I knew I wasn't.
Not your finest set of talents.
Yeah.
Like
if you're going
one-
to take two things together,
combining them.
that's
Yeah.
not. It's not like, oh, he can chug really fast, so it doesn't matter how
Yeah.
fast he runs, or he can run really fast. It doesn't matter how long it takes to chug. But the group of people that were doing it were a lot of fun. Like everybody.
How
like,
many people
Yeah.
would you say?
I don't know. They never really.
Would you say
gave-
50 people?
Probably.
That actually did the mile.
That actually did it. Yeah.
I wonder how many DNFs there were.
I bet 50% of that field is a DNF.
I think there were a few.
Probably.
And
Reese
but-
was one of them.
Yeah, Reese was one of them. But we got started. It was fun because everybody comes to that kind of lighthearted.
Yeah.
And what was it? Death March. What's the name of the brand?
Yeah, the Death March Running Company.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were kind of like a sponsor, and
They had cool hats.
yeah, they gave out hats to everybody who finished. But I saw a lot of people that
I
didn't.
got one.
Yeah, I was gonna say he didn't run. And the problem is it starts. It's kind of the loop goes uphill, and I remembered it from last year. I'm like that. You finish chugging a beer, and you kind of run uphill.
You do like
That
a
sounds
hairpin turn to
awful.
the right, and you
Yeah.
go straight up.
Okay.
But it's not like heavy, but it's like
It's
just-
enough.
It's just long enough where you're just like,
Yeah, and the great thing is that's where a lot of people started throwing up. So
Nice.
Lovely.
I
Nice.
was feeling kind of fine. Even the first one, I'm like, okay, I got my beer down. I'll start running. I was like, ooh, this sucks. Like when you start running, and then you see somebody off to the side just
Oh, jeez.
like foam just flying out of their
Oh.
mouth. Second check-in. So we're talking about pampering yourself. And what does that mean? That means making sure you're getting your rest, you're doing your stretches after your run or before you run, whichever you prefer, and you're hydrating and getting in those electrolytes and replenishing, especially in this heat. You lose so much fluid. Just you need to fill back up with your sodium, magnesium, potassium, all those electrolytes that are usually packed into these super drinks. Of course, it's an element, but you can find it a lot of places. You just need to make sure that you're hydrating and staying fresh and eating it. I find it a lot of times in this heat, it's hard to get food down afterwards, but you got to get that protein in as well.
All right, this week's episode is again sponsored by our favorite element.
We've got good news and we've got some bad news.
What are you going to hit them with first?
What do you want, Robbie?
Bad news.
All right, bad news
For
is
people who love good news.
the lemonade flavor was more popular than they expected, and it is sold out.
Oh, really? No way. Already?
Already.
Dude, that is a bummer because I tried to snake a bunch of them from Carl's stash without him noticing. I only have a couple left.
Do you want the good news?
Yeah.
It's under consideration for a full-time flavor now.
Ooh, of course it is.
It should be. And I also, can I make a request while we're doing this? I want like a banana coconut flavor, like
You said this last time. I'm nixing it.
like
Absolutely
a
not.
pina colada flavor for these hot summer days.
I don't hate it, but LMNT probably does.
Yes.
I would like a pina colada flavored one.
Okay, I say I like it. Strawberry daiquiri.
Maybe that could be a limited flavor.
Although it's a bummer you cannot get the lemonade flavor, you can still get some of the great ones like citrus salt, raspberry salt, watermelon salt. That's one of my favorites. So you can get a free 8-count sample pack of their most popular drink mix flavors with any purchase at drinklmnt.com/thedrop.
And then you turn around.
Did you
come back?
Okay.
I'll get to it
All right,
a
yeah,
little
okay.
bit.
Okay.
I come down, and then you get to kind of run through the village, and there's people in like the condos.
Cheering?
They're like Thomas, and I was like, I'm like trying to see because like I didn't think to look up. So
You're
like
like,
that.
"Hi."
Yeah, hi.
Were you running in the cowboy hat?
Yeah.
Yes, he was.
Okay.
Yeah, I stayed in character. We got down. Of course, Alex is heckling me. He's like, because I'm not like chugging, I'm like kind of drinking the beer. He's like, yeah, I remember my first beer, Thomas. Oh, yeah. But yeah, so that, like, by the time I'm finishing my second beer, I think Taylor's
done.
already on his
Third.
third. Yeah, he's coming in for his third.
Really?
Yeah, like the fast people were fast.
Jeez.
And the guy that won, like, I think it was like maybe 7 minutes.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think the best is that Taylor doesn't really drink either.
Oh, this weekend he did.
Oh, dude, yeah.
He drank plenty.
What a
But-
champ.
So it was either the second or third one where it was like I got air trapped underneath the beer.
Oh, no.
So when I
Oh.
did kind of like throw up a little bit,
Ugh.
it was just like a hose of foam.
Okay. We don't
Yeah.
need any more descriptors than that.
Yeah, did I get that on camera? Was I with you when that happened, or did you go up?
I don't know what you got.
I got you dry heaving like a mofo.
Then that was probably the one.
That was
yeah.
probably it? Okay.
Yeah. So I'm finishing up, and it was a moment during the third lap where I'm like,
Maybe this is a bad idea.
do I just drop out at 3? Because like people are finishing now, and I still have another beer. But I was like, nah, I'll know I quit, and Strava will know I quit.
That's the more important key.
So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna do it. So I got back and did the final lap, and I finished. And as soon as I finished, it was like as bad as everything felt while I was doing it. This euphoric rush just came over me.
You mean the beer hit?
Yeah, it's called the 5% Coors Banquets.
Yeah, I was doing the Coors Banquet beer.
That's a good, solid choice.
I was like, if I'm gonna do this, I suck anyways. Why try to do it light?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I finished, and a little bit after me, the final woman finishes, who
Who
was
we said
lovely.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was fun and stuff, and like we were joking
So
around.
what did Taylor finish in then?
I actually don't think he started his watch.
Oh.
Because I kept asking him for the time, and he was like, I don't know.
So
Okay.
here's the problem. I wanted to beat my time from last year because I felt like I was a little bit better shape than last year.
Mm-hmm.
And last year, my Strava said I did it in 13 minutes.
Okay.
So this year, I put on my watch. I did the laps. I think that it cut out my,
Stop time.
like if I was drinking.
Right.
It must have cut that out because I believe I ran it in 15 minutes if you take the total time. But Strava gave me 9 minutes.
Yeah.
For
That's a
Yeah.
beer mile PR.
If you go to my Strava, that is not the accurate time. But
Okay.
here's the thing. Now I'm like, was the 13 minutes accurate? Like, was that cut back?
And if you go to like a lapse time or something, it doesn't.
Yeah, it'll
I
show
didn't-
you.
I didn't check.
You
I
need to
didn't
go to a
check.
lapse time.
Yeah, you gotta check that out.
So yeah, it took me 15 minutes to get 4 beers down and run a mile.
Yeah.
Sounds
Which-
right.
I'll go to
Yeah.
your Strava while I'm there. I'll put a trash emoji.
Yeah, okay. No, that one,
That's a
Robbie,
run.
that was a good run.
Not on that one. I'll give you
Okay.
I'll give you a thumbs up.
I will tell you this.
Kudos.
I hate that beer mile. I'd probably do it again.
It's just so fun to be there, like in the village with everyone. And
How many people did
And
it?
because I was like one of the last people, all the people that had already run it, they were kind of like cheering for you.
of course,
Yeah.
everyone's waiting.
Yeah.
for-
How many
so I got a
people-
lot of love.
How many people did the beer mile altogether?
I
don't
think
know,
50.
it was like 50. Something like that. But there were
Interesting.
definitely more people just like hanging around.
Yeah,
there's
more
then we had
spectators.
they had the happy hour like immediately after, which was basically
The
finish
beers
in the
that.
tub.
yeah.
Just get rid of these
Yeah,
so we
it's
can
like
all
kind
leave.
of.
Yeah.
That might have been hot tub night.
That was hot tub night.
Okay.
Because we hung out and then we got pizza.
What's it
and then-
say?
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's
Your elapsed time was 16:24.
Okay, now can you pull up the year before and see if there's an elapsed time? Because I want to know if I beat last year's
That
time.
feels like a lot of work.
I don't know if I can do that.
I just searched spear
I don't know
mile
if I can
on
search
my
within your-
activities. Oh, you can?
You'll have to do
I
it.
think you have to do it. Yeah.
All right.
So you got pizzas.
Yeah, we got pizzas. At that point, we were properly.
Feeling good.
Yeah. So we're at pizza. Hella Good comes in, sits with us.
Yeah.
Lovely. I freaking love that dude.
Oh, he's
just
so
a
cool.
positive, happy person.
Shout out Jersey boy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So he's like in real life how he is on.
I was going to
Yeah.
say on
Yeah.
Instagram
He's
personality.
very
Genuinely
similar.
very nice.
Cool.
And Deslin.
Deslin
came
walked in.
Got pizza.
Did she
Oh,
stay
yeah?
with you guys too?
I mean, that's the fun thing
No,
about.
Justin talked to her though for a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah. Justin jumped up and went over to her.
Said screw you guys.
Yeah.
What was
talked
she
to-
doing?
She paced.
She paced.
Oh, okay.
I thought she was also doing some commentating or something on the side.
I don't.
She
know
may have.
about
I don't know though.
Yeah,
Okay.
we were busy.
I thought I saw her with a mic.
We were doing.
She
Yeah,
it.
she was
gonna-
probably doing some sort of.
Is she gonna get into trail?
Yeah.
Yeah,
she
she
is.
is.
That's
She
her
is.
whole thing.
But I knew that. But what is her plan? Is she doing a 50?
I think-
He's doing
Yeah.
a 50K in the summer or something.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the plan?
yeah, I heard something.
I
about
even
that.
think this was part of her kind of like get a taste of
Oh,
Western
okay.
states.
Yeah.
But
What if she just came out and
dominated.
maybe not? Yeah, maybe not dominant. And there's some legit.
Yeah.
Some
We'll
legit
get
women
it-
out
we'll,
there.
get into the
we'll
race
get into
part.
the course because
Okay.
I
Yeah.
will tell you what, it's an equalizer on a lot of levels.
Yeah.
So we get the pizza. That's the thing I love about the Palisades and this event is that there's really only a small space for people to hang out.
Right.
So you see, Hal Kroner's there again. We had, Tim Tollefson. We saw Mike Ambrose. I could rattle off names after names.
Yeah.
We're all here.
And how far is this from the actual start of the race?
The start of the race
It
is
is
there.
there.
It's
It's
at
all the same
Olympic
spot.
Village. Yeah.
So you know how we
I
started?
thought it started like
how,
a couple miles, like somewhere
No.
else.
you know how we started
This is crazy.
Broken Arrow and we ran out the back end?
Yeah.
Do you know where the main section was where
Remember the tents
where
where
we're
the
giving
Solomon
out the
tents?
hats
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
that stuff?
that's
it's
the start.
right there.
Why did I think it started? Okay, well, I'm
It
bad.
ends somewhere else.
And I got
I
to tell
knew
you,
that. No, I know that.
For
it ends in Auburn.
90% of the people you see when the start goes off, it looks like they're running. They probably just run from the start chute to the end of the start chute because that's when the high point challenge is like a straight
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
grueling start. Like
We'll get
this
to
is
that
one
too,
of the
yeah.
worst. Yeah.
Yes.
You all did it?
Me and
Yeah.
Thomas did. Yeah. So we wrapped up
And
dinner.
well, Reese and
Reese
and
Taylor, but
Taylor.
they actually ran it.
Well, they even hiked some. Like they
Of
did
course
it
they
like
did.
you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. It's important.
But so
I got your event from last year. By the
okay.
way.
What is it?
Can you tell me what the elapsed time is?
Yeah, elapsed time last year was 13:37.
Ah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Do it again.
Moving time was 8:49. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. Next year.
I got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how I was slower this year. I felt like I did it faster. That's weird.
All right. Sorry.
Anyway, so we finished up that day,
Yeah.
and what do we have the next day?
We did the hike. We did the hike camp.
The hike camp challenge.
Yeah. So
Meg, you've done this before.
Yeah, I did it with Taylor last year, and it was a lot of fun because I was with him, I think, because otherwise it would just be a climb.
Yeah.
That's hard.
There's no flat.
no.
It's pretty much all uphill. There's maybe
You get
some
like
that
one.
kind of like does a little plateau where you could run across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were
took
there.
breaks.
Danny Orr was there.
Yeah.
So we got to talk to him. I met a couple people that
You guys
listen to
hiked
the
together?
podcast, for a little bit. And I met some people who listen. Jennifer, shout out to you.
Jennifer.
Who listens to the podcast.
Cool.
Yeah.
Was on the mountain, and yeah, it's grueling, and it was kind of weird because you would get passed by people, and you're not moving that fast, but it's just some of the parts are just so steep
Mm-hmm.
that you have to stop and take like almost like a break to catch your breath, and you're hiking, you're not running. It's
Does it give you a deeper appreciation for the people who run it?
Oh,
Yeah,
jeez.
hell
we were
yeah.
talking about that the whole time. I'm like, dude, there's no way, dude. The
I
first
don't
3 miles of
understand.
this race is just this.
I legit don't
I'm
understand.
like
it.
you're well. The thing is is it 2 miles, 2.5 miles
to the high camp part. Yeah.
right? And you're like
2.7.
they've still from there had 97.5 miles.
Right, like that's your like for us, like that's my day.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything else.
Well, that was a cool thing. So we got up to the top, and there was actually a band playing up there.
Yeah.
And I actually got footage of that. So.
I saw. Yes.
And it was just cool. The most disappointing thing, though, was They had burritos this year instead of pancakes.
Not pancakes,
Oh.
it was burritos.
But
yeah.
the most disappointing thing was they had a Coca-Cola fountain machine. And I was like, oh, I would love a Coca-Cola right now. This is incredible. I'm going to get it.
It was just water coming
Yeah,
out.
they just turned it off, and the only thing you could get was water.
Dude, that is
Not
False
cruel.
advertising.
not even ice.
That is cruel.
And
Yeah.
they were like, the water tastes better out of the fountain than out of here. So I was like, eh. So yeah, and I was a little disappointed at that. I kind of hesitated. Oh, I did take a mean
Is this-
bathroom break up there.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Waiting
what
for this
the-
guy. I'm like, is this guy lost?
You left some scat up there.
Well, I went to the bathroom. I came out, met everybody, and I was like, I gotta go back in.
Is this at the Olympic Training Center thing?
It's at like a.
High K,
It's
like
where
where the tram is.
tram
Yeah.
leaves you off.
Right.
Yeah.
It's where at the building up there.
Yeah.
There's an ice skating rink up there, which is crazy.
Yeah, probably.
kinda cool.
So we finished up there, and I was like, I think I could run down. And Danny's like, don't do it, Thomas. You won't have quads tomorrow. You'll be cooked. It's horrible.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, don't do it. And there was several people telling me that's not a good idea to do. But
You did it anyway?
Obviously, you listened.
I was like, you know what? I wanted to go with Taylor and Reese. And I was like, guys, I'll come. And I do know that I'm better downhill than anything else in running. And I was so glad I did. It was so much fun. We
Okay.
just kind of
All right, good.
let gravity take hold, and we just kind of
Nice.
went down.
I mean, you've been going to the gym. You got more quad.
Were you sore?
action.
I will say the next
The
day,
next day.
but I don't know if it was the up or the down, because
Yeah.
the up was horrendous too, or the down, just like rubbery legs the next day. But we bolted down, and when I say bolted, it was like a 8-minute pace
That's
Yeah.
to get
Yeah.
down.
You got down. I took the tram, and like I think you guys got down before I did because I had to wait because there's a lot of people trying to take the tram. So,
Yeah.
and Taylor ate a full burrito before.
Oh,
doing
that was
That's crazy.
Okay, that was a great
Sausage.
Reese. The entire conversation on the way down was Reese in disbelief that Taylor had a burrito in him while we were doing this run.
like a baby, like one that's like a size
this
of
is
a
a big
baby.
Dude, it was a greasy bacon, egg, and cheese.
Yeah.
Like
Who runs after
he
that?
ruined He ruined his shirt or something because he got some of the grease on his shirt. Yeah, and yeah, he's fine. And like, not even I didn't hear a burp or a belch or anything out of him.
It's
the
not
entire way
normal.
down.
Yeah. Crazy.
Weird. So then, all right. So this is
The day before race day.
the day before race day.
Yeah.
Okay.
And though
Yeah.
we had to be kind of low key because we were gonna have to get up at what time? Like 2?
I set the
2:45?
alarm for 2:30.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, to get to do the hike up to the Scarper.
well, so they did the tram this year.
Yeah.
Right, but
the-
why'd- so then why'd
here's
you
the
have-
crazy. Well, because we were hosting the tram at 4 a.m. to get up there,
Oh.
so we wanted to be there by 3:30. But that night, I'm going to bed and I'm just not able to sleep. And I realize it's 9 o'clock where we are, which meant it was like 6 a.m. where Meg was. So I'm not able to talk to Meg that much at all during this trip because she's 9
Right.
hours ahead of us when we're in California. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to sleep if you're up or something. I forget what I texted you, but
don't remember.
Meg's like, what are you doing up? And I was like, yeah, but I can't sleep. And so we chatted for a little bit, and literally I couldn't get any sleep that night. I don't know what it was. I ate the melatonin chocolates from,
Really?
from
Cherry bomb.
Night bites.
yeah,
Or no,
Night
from
Bites
Lagoon.
Lagoon, yeah.
Yeah.
I took the magnesium from Pillar.
Those night bites are actually good. I found like some in my fridge. I don't even know how old they were.
Well,
that
do
were
you have
already-
the new ones?
They were good.
They're much better than the original ones.
Oh,
we
really?
got. And it's not like sweet chocolate. It's
No,
like more
it's
like the dark,
like
you. I think Meg-
cacao.
yeah,
Cacao.
You'd really like.
Did
it,
you bring
Meg.
any back
I did.
All right.
for
I
me?
got some too. Yeah.
Yeah, you can have a piece.
Oh, wow, one whole piece.
He also gave us nose tape and mouth tape. I haven't tried the mouth tape.
I
I tried it
refuse
last
to do
night.
those
I tried it
things.
last night.
Did you?
Yeah.
I took the mouth tape right off.
I'm always afraid I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
It's
I want to
Seriously.
try it. I want to try it with the nose tape.
I
though.
did the nose tape too. Yeah.
The first night, the nose tape kind of popped off on one side. So the second night, I was like really, like aggressive.
It's just a breathe right strip, right?
right, pretty much.
I can't
Pretty
even
much,
breathe through
yeah.
my nose sitting here, so I'd be interested.
It hurt taking it off. You should do it. There's that. Who's that guy on Instagram who's always wearing a nose strip? He's like, he's got a beard and he's like, he's
Carl, will you do a
Pat
get
Blair.
ready with me morning routine starting out with mouth tape?
Dude, I will.
Okay.
Like, all right.
It was.
I'll try the mount tape
I will say it definitely is like adhesive enough. Like,
to keep your mouth shut.
yeah.
Why aren't you supposed to breathe through your mouth?
What did Reese say? Did she say there were studies that showed something
Yeah.
about like the?
There's a reason.
I think Floris Gearman does it too.
I just
I
think
think he
that's
released
a
a
level
hormone
of
that
Flores is at a
insanity.
different level.
He does.
tape
Yeah,
is
Flores
at a
is
different level.
It's all part of that.
I don't know. You can go on Lagoon's site
ecosystem.
and read the description.
He's
or
probably
whatever.
also not drinking beer.
Oh, no.
He's not drinking as much as I drank a lot that night.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's a good thing in case you're ever going to be a hostage. It's like good training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you start to panic. Otherwise, now you're a hostage. You're like, this is okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to catch
like
a couple.
add more tape.
Yeah, a little more sleep here.
Yeah.
So we get up way early,
Yeah.
all of us, and we head over to the tram, and we handed out our custom beanies and gloves. Sorry, guys, we didn't have any leftovers.
That's
Otherwise,
all
we would have
good.
brought them for you. But the beanies actually look pretty dope.
Yeah, look good.
Yeah.
And the gloves were cool too. And they had, so we get on the tram. It gets that we went on the first one. They gave like 3 trams to Hoka to get people up there.
Yeah.
Which each tram holds about,
It's 120 people.
yeah.
Oh wow.
So-
I didn't realize it was that much.
This year there was more people up at Escarpment than I think ever.
Everyone said that who's ever been here years, even not even last year, like previous years. You're like, this is the most crowded.
Yeah.
Because of the trams.
Well,
It was easier
not the
access for
trams,
everyone.
and I think also just people
popularity
see the
of it.
pictures and they're like, I gotta go. see
Right,
that.
right.
Yeah.
It's the most accessible point to see the start. Like if you're in the village and you see the start, it's like boring. This
And
is
It's 2
like-
seconds. They just run through the start
Yeah.
line and that's it.
And it's the highest point in the race, right?
I
Is it?
think so.
I
yeah.
think so,
Like
yeah.
The top of the escarpment. Yeah.
So we get up to on the tram. It's still dark out, of course, and I'm like, we should have probably brought a headlamp or something. I guarantee you would have twisted an ankle. Like there's loose rocks and stuff.
yeah, without a headlamp.
We get down. They had like real nice travel
Yeah.
mug coffees.
Ooh.
And
Coffee, donuts,
yeah.
pastries. Yeah.
for everybody, it was great. Really nice. And
You
I'm-
still had to hike a little.
Well, that's
bit.
what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Even though you avoided the 2-mile hike to hike camp,
High camp to the top of the escarpment. It's maybe a little over a mile.
it was a mile and a half.
Oh
Mile and a half,
wow.
but oh man,
And
I brought back memories. From last
It's
year.
steep, and here's the thing: it's cold out,
Yeah,
but the
it's-
hike has you sweating because you're dressed to stand around. Like I had tights with a wind shell pant on top of that, with a t-shirt, a hoodie, sweatshirt, and they gave us a fleece jacket that had a wind breaking material, which is a pretty cool
It's
jacket.
nice. It's a nice jacket.
I brought yours in, by the way.
Thank you.
And we get to the top, we had the gloves and the hats and stuff. You get to the top, and that's where you sweat from climbing all the way up there. And I was like, geez, this is, even though we got this far, this is still a hike.
Yeah.
And sweating. So you have that, like, I'm cold,
Yeah.
and there's sweat trickling down my back, and you're waiting for people to come up.
Yeah, I think by the time we got up there it was like 5:30, so it took like another half hour for everyone to start coming up. So you're kind of just standing there.
And I didn't know if there was more cloud cover this year or what, but it seemed like it got lighter earlier. I felt like last year, like it was just getting the alpenglow when people came up.
I think we got up there earlier last year because when we did the full hike, we started at like 3:30.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
We also didn't have the panic of the first year where we're like, are we going to make it up there in time?
Right.
Yeah. Like this, we already knew.
So then who was the first to come through?
I mean, David Roche was kind of leading the charge.
Oh,
right?
really?
And Killian and everyone else who was like in. They
But
were
it's
they
so-
were holding that spot for a while.
It's so exciting when they start coming because it's kind of like a trickle, and then it's like a flood.
yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And we went to the backside too, which we didn't do last year, like on the other end. And that's like you can't get a bad picture up there.
Right,
Like, you just
right.
can't. With
Yeah.
the sun coming up and the mountains, like there's
That's
just no
cool.
way. Like it was beautiful.
I was surprised how many people were shooting with iPhones.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Like there was a large group of people. I mean, I guess if you're just spectating,
Yeah.
Right.
But I even saw people at the finish line who were in the photo, like had photo credits, just standing there with an iPhone taking pictures.
Wow.
I was like, okay.
I mean, they're pretty good now.
Pretty good these days.
Yeah.
Here's a. What was the deal with? And I know there's people who are needed documenting it for social media or documentary or whatever. But there were some runners, and it might have been David Roche, where there was
20
like
people around.
Yeah.
20 people
Yeah.
behind them with cameras. And I'm
Yep.
like, there's no need for
Well, you
whatever's
also-
happening
Well, there
right
was
here.
a couple different things going
You
on.
also have like the actual Western States team media who are live streaming it.
They had a really cool
I mean,
setup.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
sure.
but I'm saying a lot of them. So it's like they probably had a team doing they're probably doing a cinematic recap too, but they were also doing the live stream. So you already had that, and then you had whatever athlete personal
Okay.
video team for
Okay.
the elites. So like you did see like 20.
But then there was also like,
Fans?
Believe-
people who are just fans who are like,
Believe in their own.
Yeah,
I was gonna say me.
Yeah.
You're talking about me.
but like the setup was really cool. They had like a GoPro with a cage on it that had the
like it's connected to a battery pack,
antenna and
an
battery
antenna
pack.
to
So they were live streaming.
Yeah. Right.
So some of the feed that you saw were dudes just running with
back and forth with the GoPro.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of the live feed, and I am like always so impressed with the amount of like solid content that you get and the storytelling that you get throughout the whole thing. And I'm like, how is this tiny
Right.
race able to do this, and we can't get this for like a marathon? with
right.
Hundreds of thousands of
Seriously.
dollars.
because you don't have a Dylan Bowman.
Yeah. Who's that invested in the
Seriously,
sport?
like Free Trail really did pull out the stops
Yeah.
for this. Like,
Well, I don't understand. That's the thing. I saw these radio packs where they were able to live feed straight from these guys who had the GoPros, and I'm like, why aren't that would be so easy to do at a marathon? Just every mile have a guy with a GoPro and a radio pack.
Yeah.
Just,
And I understand that like the paces are different, and like this is a much more like accessible. Like you can be running next to someone and not be affecting the race. So I guess there's those logistics involved. But
I think you could do this for a marathon.
yeah,
I think so.
It was really cool to watch. Like it was just fun.
Yeah.
So we stayed up there for a little bit, and we came back down. I came down early because I had to go to the bathroom, and so I went straight to the tram. I don't know how long you guys stayed up there for. But
We stayed up there for a while, but we had to get back and pack our bags.
you had to
and-
check out and then head over to Forest Hill,
Yeah.
which is mile 62.
Yeah.
And this is where I got an education, because the start, obviously, is the beginning of the day. It's like 40 degrees. It feels great. We're dressed in our jackets, and like we are bundled up. Like
Oh,
I said,
how
I had
foolish.
double layers. We get to Forest Hill.
Dude,
You went straight from there to Forest Hill?
Yeah,
Oh.
we
checked
packed
out,
our bags.
drove 90 minutes or so.
Oh, okay.
It's already like 90 degrees.
Dude, it's 90 degrees. Like once you leave the mountain, once you leave that area in general, like Olympic Valley, they even on the broadcast they had temperatures for every spot, and it said Olympic Valley 71, Forest Hill 87, and I'm just like, oh boy.
So we get there, and we're going to be there for a while because we beat the runners. But it was really cool because that was all set up. You would have thought it was like a vendor show or something like that. There was food trucks. Nike rented out a restaurant. Like Hoka had tokens for a taco truck. Like Precision Fuel over here, Speedland
the
over
feed,
here. Like
yeah, they had-
it
everyone
had
was there.
like
It's like TRE.
yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. It was dirty.
Except scorching hot, in
dirty
the sun.
hot.
Yeah,
Dirty hot DRE. And then you're basically like it's like a strip of. Would you say it was a mile long?
Yeah,
Strip
yeah.
of road.
just one road. Yeah, just I think the aid station there is at the school.
Yeah.
There was a school, and then they came out the parking lot and just went on the road. And, went
And
straight
then
down.
there was like booths for the different brands runners. So like for example, I think David Roche was running with the feed. There was like a little space for him. So they come down and you're waiting, and all of a sudden you hear like, oh, someone's coming. I think we have someone coming. And so all of a sudden
You just hear the cowbells.
Yeah,
That's all I heard.
Oh, yeah.
electric feeling,
That's
and everybody
cool.
starts running towards. And
Yeah.
at this point, I've never been to Forest Hill before. I don't know where I should be standing. Should I be standing
Same.
by this little gate that they come out? Would it be better to go up further
down,
and
yeah.
get it, or is it better to come down?
Yeah.
And so we kind of just.
It kind of didn't matter.
Yeah.
You'd see them anyway. And
I do think like if next year I would plan
Me
to
too.
be
Me too.
like the most exciting thing is where they're going to stop and
Like
get-
rehydrate.
see their crew.
see
Yeah.
the
Do a
crew.
briefing.
Exciting thing for me, watching as a spectator, it's almost like a pit crew at NASCAR. So the runner comes in, he gets surrounded by his team, like they're all cheering for him, and so there's like 8 or 10 people that just mob the person, get on it.
Like douse them
Wet
in
towels.
water.
Yeah, wet towels pouring the water. Just, do you need anything? Like,
Yeah.
you know.
And it's where the emotion was.
This is where we got to bring up David Roche, because we saw David come in And I know it's all over Instagram.
Right.
I actually watched the clip that I got on my camera. So everyone's cheering, and then he meets with his family, and it gets dead quiet. You remember that when it just like went complete silent for like 5 whole minutes?
Oh wow.
And he's like talking to his wife. He's talking to like his coach, I guess.
Everybody's trying to hear what he's saying.
He was in like 7th place at this point? Is this?
I thought he was in
around-
first or something.
No,
No,
he wasn't
no.
first.
At Forest Hill, I think he was in like
Okay.
6th or
I
7th.
At
think
that point,
Robbie's
Caleb, who eventually won, was I think in first.
Yeah.
And Killian was third, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't even. I don't think I saw Caleb. He came in through so fast.
Yeah, he was with 1, 2, and 3. I think him and Killian, like they all came in at the same first one.
I got
The shoot.
Killian. I missed. I think I missed.
Okay, so
But David Roche, yeah, like it was just like crazy how the energy, like I think everyone was just like so like, I've never heard like of something like go from like crazy cowbell cheering to like dead quiet in like a split second.
But that's a
People
power.
knew something was like wrong. But
Well, it's the power of everybody wanted to know what he was going to say or do or whatever.
Yeah.
So like, he's trying to have a private conversation with his wife, and that
my goofy ass is there.
yeah. I mean, that was like you saw the picture, like you could see.
Yeah.
In his eyes, like
Yeah.
There's a real dilemma going on inside his head,
yeah.
and his wife is like there, and she's like, talk about supportive spouse. Like she was like right in there, like, hey, this is what you need. Given like you could tell they're a team as far as this goes, and you know, he got his fluids and stuff, and I think he had made the decision already to drop, but I don't think he wanted to do it in front of
50 cameras.
Yeah.
But the piece he wrote on Instagram was that he wanted to like high five everyone and thank them all for being there, and then like
okay.
exit off. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? Because obviously they have a pretty successful running podcast as well, and
Yeah.
he, won his first 100-miler at Leadville, and his fueling strategies and everything. What is I don't follow him that much though, and I know there is a weird contingency of people taking great satisfaction that he dropped out of the race, and I'm like, what is the deal with that? What is the deal
I
with
was
these-
curious about that
We all
too.
talked about it,
I
yeah.
think that he kind of was like almost cocky and called his shot, and I think that it to some people
Okay.
that seemed. And here's the thing: if you're going to run 100 miles, you got to psych yourself up.
Yeah.
So if David was like,
Sure.
"Hey, I'm going to kick everybody's ass, and I know I got this figured out, and I'm going to run this, and I should be being talked about as much as Killian or these other
Everyone else,
guys."
Yeah.
I think he was pumping himself up. I don't know. I didn't follow that conversation, but
Okay.
I think that him dropping out was people being like, "That's what you get for being cocky," or something like that. But
So,
I will tell
it's
you,
dumb.
you
It is
wouldn't have felt that at Forest Hill.
All right.
He had tons of support. People were chanting his name when he got we weren't sure he was going to get back in the race, and when he started getting up, people were like, "David, David, David." I don't know if you got that on video.
I got
but
that. I got the whole. Yeah,
like it was
whole
chilling,
thing.
like, and then you see him take off, and you're like, "All right, he's back in it." Now I happened to be standing next to his wife a little bit later. I don't know why I was near her, but
Well, by the Hoka tent was
Yeah.
crossed.
and I heard her tell someone. He said, "No, she's like, David's dropped out." He's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, he's dropped out. He's just."
That was like 10 minutes after
Yeah.
he had left us.
And
Okay.
So it was kind of like, oh wow, and the vibe we got was, it was almost like, I don't want to DNF
Yeah.
in front of everybody here. I'd rather have a quieter spot,
All right.
which I totally
Commendable.
understand.
Tip my hat to that.
Yeah, like who wants to be in the village? Because here's what's going to happen if he drops out there. Everybody on that road is going to be like, "Hey, David, what's going on? Like,
Yeah.
what's happening with the thing?"
Right.
Yeah.
You probably don't want to
So
talk
You don't
about
want to
it.
do that. But yeah, Forest Hill was sick. We stayed for a little bit longer. More people started coming down.
And just what did you say already? What was the mileage of that? Like 62 or
62.
That's
Yeah,
62 of the
62.
race.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so did you go to any other stops, or was it just the finish?
No, we
no,
just
we
did
just went
that.
to
We just- yeah.
Auburn. Now, here's the thing: like next year, if we were to come back,
We should go to Rucky Chucky.
I think that
Oh yeah,
I
the
actually,
river crossing.
I actually think we should have 2 teams.
That's what I'm saying.
So like one could be up here at Forest Hill, one could be down at Rucky Chucky.
Yep.
We could have one at Michigan Bluff,
Which is another
like
popular spot.
so that we could capture a little more of
The full story.
the full. Yeah,
But I mean, Forest Hill is obviously iconic for the reason that.
Yeah.
yeah. And you have tacos there, and you're probably not going to have that in the other spots.
No Rucky Chucky tacos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was funny because we got, it was actually nice. Max, who runs for Satisfy, he was there with his girlfriend, and we wanted to go get tacos, and we didn't have a token for it. She happened to have one, so she was sweet enough to give us one. So you get 2 tacos with a token. So at this time, Taylor and I were going to split 2 tacos, and while I was getting the tacos, Taylor was like, "Let me go check on Carl." And Carl, at this point,
I was famished, bro.
yeah, is dropping out. So I was like, well, let's just go give the tacos to Carl. I said, we'll just go to the Hoka tent and see if we can find another token. Like, he went from like looking like he might pass out to like back to life.
Dude, I was.
nice.
I was dehydrated all day.
And we couldn't find any. Like, I just wanted like a Coca-Cola or something, and all I could find was like NA beers. So I was like, here's a NA IPA to wash those tacos down.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah, but we ended up getting tacos.
So did you go to the finish then?
yeah.
We did.
Okay. And you were there for the Caleb Olsen to come through.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So what you have to understand is 2:30 in the morning is when we got up. Okay.
Yeah.
We've
What
been
time does the race start officially?
5 a.m.
5 a.m.
Oh, okay.
So we've been in freezing temps at the top of well, not freezing, but chilly temps at the top of
Escarpment.
escarpment. Now 90-degree heat, standing out with little to no shade at Forest Hill. And now we're going to the finish line, which is on a track.
It's basically like you ran it, the Western States.
Yeah, there's a lot of people were
Just
saying.
as hard.
A lot of people wanted to give me a buckle. But we get to there, and you know a track's not going to have any kind of coverage or
Right,
anything.
right.
I have to tell you, I wore a cowboy hat the whole time, and I was bringing it as kind of like a jest. It turns out like it's the perfect gear for this. Like,
yeah.
it kept the sun off my neck, kept it off my face.
that.
It was cool. But anyway, we get to the finish line, and we were like, it's really crowded. And there was a bank of photographers right at the finish line, and I was like, we should have gotten a photo pass.
Yeah, they had like the media press pit or whatever.
Yeah. So at Soul Focus was there putting on, because they're like the best at like helping out with these things. I don't think they put on the race, but they do a lot of support for the
logistics,
race.
yeah.
So they were there, and one of our friends from Soul Focus came up, and he was like, "Hey, how's it going?" He's like, "Hey, can I do anything for you?" And I was like, well, jokingly, I was like, "Sure, it'd be nice if we had press passes." He goes, "Oh, let me see what I can do." Gets on his phone and said, he said, "I'll have them for you right now." I said, 2? He's like, "Yeah, I can get you 2.
Nice.
So I call Carl off the stands, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm going to
Yeah.
get you a press pass." I'm doing like a hand signal for like the necklace.
Yeah.
Carl comes over, and the time is ticking, and it's getting close.
I'm getting nervous.
Oh,
Because
for
I had a
real?
good spot on
Yeah.
the bleachers.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was like, and
And
now
I'm
people
like-
are starting to fill in, and I'm just like, dude, I got to get this pass now, or I got to go back.
And
up.
they're like, "He is a mile out," or
yeah,
something like
they
that.
announced it. He's like,
And-
hey, he's coming in.
And I'm like, I could feel that Carl was going to be annoyed with me if I called him out of the benches for like
For
his
nothing.
good
Because
spot.
where were you at right now at this?
I'm on
Not
the
a great
infield
spot.
of the track. He's got a nice spot
Okay.
in the bleachers.
Yeah.
But like the finish line, you're like jammed in there. So I'm like waiting. It's like almost last minute. It's like he's entering the
Oh, the
track.
track.
So I made the executive decision. I'm like, I'm just gonna go back to the bleachers.
And
just
I had to
see.
call him back.
He
I'm
called
like,
me,
I got him.
While he's holding them, I'm just like, all right, good. And so I ran back down, and then we made it in. And then we still had some time. Like I was able to get set up
Yeah.
properly and whatever.
Yeah, and there's like Courtney White, like all the people you know from like
Yeah.
great
Running
you know,
photography world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just a pack. Final check-in. All right, so it's the beginning. You don't want to go wild on your mileage. This is where you can win or lose this challenge. You get all excited. You're like, I'm going to dump a whole bunch of extra miles and up your mileage where you haven't been running this much in the previous few weeks, and that's how you get yourself in trouble. So make sure that you're not going hog wild in the beginning, and as you build up your mileage, increase it by 10% every week or so, and You're going to feel great at the end and really get your endurance and your fitness up. So, start slow, finish hard. And I think I was so excited to be in there. I talked to Carl later because I was like, kind of would have been cool to have somebody in the bleachers getting the high.
Yeah, no, we were
shots
like, maybe
down.
we should have just gone, yeah.
And
But I'm like, we're in the pit. Like, we can't, like, it's too good.
so Carl's basically like sitting down on the track.
Yeah.
For that, and I'm like 3 people back, but I have the good lens on the camera, so I'm like front row for the finish.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cool because
Caleb came in.
Yeah, and he came in. His wife is all excited. They bring his baby out.
Dude,
He's had a kid 6 or 7 months ago.
That's awesome.
And
That's
I
cute.
see.
well, the kind of thing that was kind of crazy was he was kind of holding them a little loose. Like I was like, neck, support the neck.
No, I saw him pick him up. He did that.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I have evidence that he was supporting the neck.
Yes.
Yeah. You
With that freaking sweet ACG top. Dude, Carl, I bet you were all...
Dude, we
Lusting
couldn't stop
after
talking
that
about it. We
thing.
could not
Dude.
stop
We
talking
need
about
those.
it.
We've kind of figured out what
so
it does.
good.
We figured out the why.
Taylor has good theories.
No,
You do
I
too.
actually we had the theory, but I actually saw a drawing. I thought I texted it to you. I texted it to Taylor
Oh, I
last
didn't see
night.
it, no.
I can send it to you. Hold on. What it does is it kind of has, imagine 3D print. So it's a web, but there's like a ridge and a ridge on the top. So what it does is it actually holds the material off your body, allowing air to get in between the material and your skin. Also, this is the part where Taylor's theory was coming in about it's a really hot race, so moisture could get on the fabric and that would help cool, and as the air circulates through
Yeah.
it, would kind of create more of a cooling area. They had cutouts for the armpits and any joint you had.
Right.
It was open. I guess that's where you trap heat.
Yeah.
So those were open. But I mean, the thing was a sweater. I mean, it was a full body thing. And then we ran into somebody in the elevator,
Yeah.
and we kind of threw out our theory out there. He said, I can't say one way or the other from the Nike guy. But he said, I will tell you this, every athlete who wore it by choice. We didn't tell anybody they had to wear it.
That's awesome.
All the
So-
Pacers, everyone basically had it on. So
Yeah.
I did
Yep.
see a couple cooling headbands out there.
Ah, yes.
The
Omnius was out there.
Yeah.
So obviously it works.
All right. All right.
good call to use it because, man, yeah, you should have had. Everyone should have had that on. It
Yeah.
should have been required.
Have you been wearing it anymore, Meg?
I haven't yet, but I'm gonna put it back on.
Yeah.
But so I mentioned I was watching a lot of the live feed. So the golden hour will come.
Look at that cowboy.
Carl and Thomas were taking up the whole live feed for like 2 minutes.
Oh my
But what you have to
gosh.
understand is nobody told us to get out of the
Right,
way,
right.
and we didn't
They
know
pulled
what
the
it.
clock off. There was the
Yeah.
unofficial people coming in.
We didn't know. At that point, I may have had a little moisture in my eyes. Like
Yeah.
it was.
We'll
rough.
get to golden hour. Yeah,
but
the finish was.
yeah,
We stayed for the top 3 men.
top 3 men.
I mean-
and that's where I was going to say something about the time. Like,
Dude.
I would have loved to stay to watch the women
I
finish,
really
but they
wanted
weren't
to.
coming in for another 2
2.5
hours.
hours.
What did they miss? They missed Jim's record by like a few minutes,
Oh,
right?
The ghost of Jim
The
Walmsley.
ghost of Jim Walmsley. Yeah, it was like not a minute.
Dude,
It's like
that's.
5 minutes or something?
I don't know
Wasn't
what it was. Taylor will know.
You know how you can't think of any
Hold on.
Halloween costumes at the end
No,
of the
no,
year?
no. Here, Jim Walmsley was 14:09:28. Caleb Bolsa was 14:11:25. Less than 2 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
So-
realize it was that close
Yeah.
on a
break
hot
the,
day.
To break the record.
Yeah. Well, apparently it's an average day.
I thought they said it was hotter.
No, they said it was.
No,
average.
they said it was an average. They're
Right,
like,
Oh.
That's
we
why I
kept
was-
saying, we kept insinuating, oh man, this is probably hotter than it's usually been. They're like, no, this is
and
pretty
that's
on
where I
par.
was like, when you see it, like, and you're actually there and you feel the heat, it's like a laser sun. Like this had me doubting, like,
Yeah.
could you do
never-
this?
nah.
And you see all these normal looking people running it towards the end, especially.
yeah.
They don't look like,
They're not normal.
yeah. But I'm like, this is something.
It's pretty wild that Killian ran an hour and a half or something faster than he did when he won it back in what
Yeah.
2009. or
Yeah, I
whatever.
think that was a big story this year was that
Yeah.
all the lead men were basically together. Like, I think for the first, like, couple miles of the race, they were all 40 seconds apart.
Yeah.
So they were all, like, basically tightly packed.
I was
Well, you
reading
could
in-
tell he was looking over his shoulder, like when the Brooks half Asian Chris, I don't know his real name.
Chris
but-
Myers?
Yeah, when he finished, he looked over his shoulder like I think he thought
Someone
Killian
was
was right on his.
tailing him, yeah.
But
Which
then
he was 2
honestly,
minutes back. Yeah.
I mean, he was close.
Yeah.
But
It's pretty wild that the top 10 finishers all were wearing different shoes, like different brands
Yeah.
too.
Taylor pointed that out. Yeah, he was like, "That's crazy."
Norda was in there with Ryan Montgomery, Hans. Which, by the way, Hans Scheuer. I watched his documentary. He runs with Ultra, but they had a documentary come out last week. It was like so good.
I think Taylor told me to watch that.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he's a freak too.
okay, Chris, who was second place, was wearing prototype Brooks.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you to go look at my personal feed and see the picture I posted of Killian Jornet with a pair of shoes behind his head. They happen to be the Brooks shoe. And since we're not under embargo or even testing that shoe, I'm leaving that one up.
Yeah.
So if you
Yeah.
want to see what Chris had on his feet, it's quite interesting. It's a very interesting looking trail shoe.
Yeah.
But we got tired. Like, we were just beat. We were
At
hungry.
that point, close to 20 hours being
Yeah.
awake.
So I really would have loved to stay for the women's, but at this point,
Abby Hall didn't come in for another 2.5 hours.
yeah. What time were the guys finished? It was like 8. Was it?
7 something.
Yeah. So
So 14 hours would be 12.
From
Yeah,
5
7.
o'clock.
7
Yeah, from
7,
Yeah.
10, 7, 15.
so we were probably there till around 8.
Yeah,
and
we
then-
stayed for a little bit, but then
and
Because
then
Abbey
booking
Hall
them.
finished at 16:37, so that
Yeah.
was about two and a
Basically
half
2.5
hours
hours.
after.
So we headed back to the beautiful town of, I don't know where we were.
Roseville.
Roseville. Which, by the way, I'm sorry, Roseville. You're a fabricated place. Like, the restaurants around where we were, Applebee's, not Applebee's,
Red Robin, Buffalo Wild
Wild,
Wings.
yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like classic.
Sounds great.
What Roseville looks like is like living in a mall.
So not like Woodlands, Texas. Like that is a fabricated place. That's higher.
Yeah,
end.
but it's high end.
That's high
This
end.
was like
Okay.
regular end fabricated. Like, it literally like felt like at the Towson Mall.
Okay.
Like, living in the.
Was
like,
there a cheesecake factory there?
Or a
There was not. I
Rainforest
was
Cafe.
I didn't see it.
No.
Yeah, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
The Red Robin bottomless fries have gone downhill.
So Taylor, we found out something about Taylor. So we went out. We ended up going to Buffalo Wild Wings, which I don't know why I got a hamburger there.
So did I.
and look, they're
Calories. I
not
just
known
eat
for
calories.
their hamburgers. Yeah, Carl looked at it at one point when we were there.
So this is your best choice is Buffalo Wild Wings because even I
nice.
am
Or-
not-
or Red Robin.
Or Red Robin.
man, I do. Red Robin has. I think their burgers are.
Well,
Dude,
that-
we went and got drinks there later, and I went in their bathroom. I'm like, "There's no way this place is passing a health check."
okay. That's probably because Carl was just in there.
I did go to the bathroom before you did.
But so we decided after dinner, since Taylor had never been to a 7-Eleven, there happened to be a 7-Eleven nearby. We went over there and did a little bit of a Taylor photo shoot.
Ah.
A little
at
improv photo
7-Eleven.
shoot, yeah.
Yeah.
Never
and,
been to a 7-Eleven?
No.
That's wild.
Guess I don't have them.
I'm not sure how that happens.
You live out in the middle of Estes Park with no.
But he grew
Yeah,
up
but
in
he's
Minnesota.
traveled.
They're literally everywhere.
I told him really if he really wants to experience 7-Eleven, wait till he goes to Japan. But
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's a whole
those are
different experience.
solid.
yeah, this was your regular one. Yeah, and
This explains because I've been getting these ads for. There's this fishing brand that did a partnership with 7-Eleven, and I'm gonna order one of their shirts because they look awesome. But they did because a lot of people go to get ice and drinks and everything before they go on their fishing.
supplies, I mean?
Yeah, well, ice and drinks. Yeah, and
Not a glizzy.
yeah, and so I'm getting ads for this collab between 7-Eleven and this brand.
I would definitely get
Guess you got to get it.
Oh, I'm going to. But anyway, so you got
We did that.
you got a Bahama Mama?
Nobody
They didn't
got
have
a
'em.
Bahama Mama, but we ended up calling it a night.
Yeah.
Didn't sleep well again. I don't know what it was about this trip, but
I think it's
Altitude?
the alcohol, the
Oh.
altitude, the dehydration, the being up for 20 hours. I think
Mind
that made-
the
stimulated.
excitement, yeah.
Yeah.
So didn't really sleep well, but we're getting up in the morning to go watch
Golden hour, baby.
Golden hour. So the breakfast at the hotel was like a fake Starbucks. Like it was like Starbucks
Branding?
sort of.
Yeah.
It wasn't even the
Oh
branding.
no! What they do is they sell Starbucks coffee there, so it's yeah. I know what that is.
And so where I was like, why don't we just go to a regular Starbucks? Because there, like, really, there was no. I was like, I'll even go to IHOP at this point because that's the kind of town it is. But the IHOP wasn't going to open until 9, and we were up early.
Yeah, like 6:30.
So we go, we get our Starbucks, we get, I think we all got sausage, egg, and cheese sandwiches, and go back to the hotel, get our stuff ready for for Golden Hour.
For those who don't know, Golden Hour is hour 29 to 30 of Western States, which is the last official hour that you can be considered an official finisher of the race.
Yes.
So we head out, and I'm like, I don't know, I want some gum or something. Can we stop at 7-Eleven? And I jokingly say, hey, Carl, if we're stopping, you want me to get you glizzy?
And non-jokingly, I said yes.
And so this guy, before we get there, which I have to give you
A morning
credit,
glizzy?
he had,
Yes.
I guess it's not that much different from sausage.
dude,
yeah,
it's a
true.
quarter pound of
That feels different.
a hot dog.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So I was actually surprised because he made it through the whole morning without any incident. So we get that. We go over to the track. And, of course, they've got, like, a grill set up, and there's burgers.
Oh, there's barbecue.
And I
It's
was like,
it's great,
I
man.
should have ate here.
Jeez, yeah.
But we're busy, so we're working. Again, we have our press passes, so we have full access.
To go on the track?
Yeah.
Everywhere. Like, it was so nice to be able to just, like, nobody even, like, I could have stood in front of her.
But it was just you two, right?
Yeah.
Taylor had to be on his own.
Taylor actually wanted to go to where they entered the track, so I
Okay.
think he spent most of the time on that side anyway. So.
And Taylor, he's talking to all these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's having
Trail
a good time.
nerd.
yeah, this
Yeah.
is his his people.
Yeah. So I'm taking photos. Carl's taking video, and it does. These are the relatable runners. These are the people that you look at and you go, okay, maybe I could do a 100-miler.
Yeah.
Maybe this looks. They're the people who are their families meeting them at
Yeah.
the track and running around the track with them to the finish line.
That got me.
Oh,
Seeing the
yeah.
little kids like holding the hands at the
That's
desk.
awesome.
Like, it's just,
Yeah. You start getting a little bit of trickle of emotion. But it really is, you start to see the clock tick down,
Yeah.
and there's 5 minutes left, and the spacing is getting
Are
ugly.
you guys hearing like what we hear on the live feed? Like, hey, there's someone coming in and
No,
No.
but they were
Okay.
you'd hear it from like across the field, like
A cheer.
Yeah,
Okay.
you'd hear the cheers.
So
and
you'd know if
just
someone
knew.
was coming.
You just knew.
Yeah.
So, but you start feeling the gravity of the moment. And, of course, I forget his name. Someone did a post with his name.
Yeah.
But the last place finishers coming around. Well, first off, you see these women that are probably, I don't know if they're older or if just 100 miles makes you look
Like you're
look a little
Haggard.
old. But they were older, and you're like, wow, this is really impressive.
Yeah.
Like, this is somebody that you would never guess. You'd be like, oh, you're a
100
Western
miler,
State
yeah.
finisher. You'd be like, yeah, sure you are. But, they're finishing up. But this last guy is coming in. He's like, you start seeing the sideways runners.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
It's like and like the bent over slightly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like the people that are using every
Ounce.
last bit of will
That's
to get them across the finish line.
Yeah.
And so he's coming in.
From Japan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
Japan, and he gets to the finish line, and you could tell he spent everything he had to get him to cross that line. And what was the time? Is
Dude, it was like
29. 50,
Here,
He only had like 10.
I have it right here. 29, 57, 48.
yeah,
Oh.
I was gonna say he had less than 3 minutes.
Yeah.
2 minutes and 12
So
seconds to go.
he gets over,
Tokyo.
collapses.
He just drops.
Yeah.
He's got blood coming out of his nose.
Oh, jeez.
Like
He's got-
it was rough. Like his family's trying to hold the Japanese flag, and
Wow.
like he's just on the ground. Like
Yeah.
he's just like out. But you could tell he had the satisfaction of like he finished.
did it. Yeah.
And that was the crazy thing because now the time starts to roll out, and when it does, when it hits that 30, like we were standing there,
It's brutal, man.
goes up. The guy just turns the clock
Turns
off.
the clock off, timing that comes off. They
I
undo
I
everything.
saw that.
No
the turning off of
way.
the clock, I was like, whoa.
I'm like, dude,
So-
that's going to be whoever
No
comes
way.
in.
Right after that, this guy is coming in, and he gets there, and he doesn't look that bad. I mean, he looks like a dude who just ran 100 miles.
That sounds pretty bad.
But he gets, I'm saying, compared to this other guy
Yeah.
who collapses,
Uh-huh.
and he just comes across, and we're all cheering and stuff, and he's got a smile on his face, and he just looks at the guy who's helping him from the race, and he goes, I guess I didn't run fast enough. And I was like,
Yeah.
tears just started rolling out of my eyes because he didn't say it like he was like super disappointed. It was more matter of fact. I
Yeah.
guess I didn't run fast enough.
Heartbreaking.
Man.
Yeah. Dude, the guy after him though. Did you see him?
Maybe
How many
I
people
did.
came in after the cutoff?
I think 2 or
Okay.
3.
That's what I thought.
He was upset.
Oh no.
And like the lady who gave him the medal was trying to like,
Console him.
yeah. She was like, you still finished. Like you still did it. Like you're still a 100-miler finisher. And you could just tell he's sitting there like in the chair just like defeated. Like,
What color shirt was he wearing?
I can't remember. I looked at the video last night, but
So
I remember I
you-
recorded that.
You still get a medal, and you get to technically be a
No.
100-mile. Oh,
You get
You get the medal.
You don't get the buckle.
You don't get the buckle, and you don't get a time. Like it's.
you don't get an
it's a
official time on
DNF.
Western
DNF.
States. Okay.
It counts as a DNF.
Shout out to Ben Gibbard of Death Cab for Cutie.
Yes.
27:15, not bad.
Yeah. He did pretty well.
What's the song about marching?
Wait, which one?
I think it was on the Plans album.
Yeah.
Something New York.
Yeah.
Oh, the Marching Bands of New York.
Yeah, that's
or,
it.
Or
Yeah.
Manhattan.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean it lived up to the hype from what everyone said about Golden Hour for sure.
It definitely does. It was weird because I expected for some reason Golden Hour to be like, the sun kind of coming down.
well, that's what it
It's
normally
like that.
means.
Bright.
Right? Golden
Yeah.
Hour,
So that's what in my head I'm thinking that this
no,
is
it's bright
bright
daylight.
Yeah.
daylight.
Smacked
Well,
in the
it's
face
10
with the sun.
a.m., right? 10 a.m. to
it
11
is.
a.m.?
Oh,
Yeah.
another thing I
Just as
loved
hot.
is they had these drummers. They had like
drum line, yeah, they
it
had a
was
cool drum line.
almost like a Japanese
Yeah.
drum line, and like the runners would come around, they'd be bum, 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 and like kind of give them like a almost like a pick up your feet and pace because a lot of people were coming in. You could tell that maybe they'd done a lot of walking, but like you're on a track, it's the finish line. This
got
is the
these
end of
drum
it,
lines, yeah.
and they're pumping up It was lined from the entrance to the track all the way around the oval to the finish, and then there's like a grandstand. So like,
That's
it's got to
cool.
be so bizarre going from like nobody being out in the middle of the desert,
Yeah.
basically,
Seriously.
to like now you made it.
Yeah.
Man, that's
And-
crazy.
Yeah. So that was sick. That was definitely last year. I was like definitely feeling FOMO, like coming back and watching the live stream. I'm like, damn.
Glad you stayed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we missed it. But last year I was like, oh, this escarpment thing is so cool, and then you're like, okay, and then
We were like, all right, that's it.
and then this year you're like, oh, there's so much. The escarpment is so different than Forest Hill, which is so different.
from
Yeah.
Which is why I want to go to some of the other places
Yeah.
to see what it's like. Like
I think I can't see how we can do it without breaking off into teams.
you got it. There's
Yeah.
like you have to do that. But
Bring a
Oh.
whole crew next year.
honestly, yeah.
So what is the pace for 14?
Oh, 8:30 pace, Caleb?
Yeah.
Yeah, 8:30 pace for the
That's
entire
so
thing.
insane.
Okay, I will tell you.
That's so crazy.
You have to understand that after they left to go down to Rucky Chucky, they run down a valley. Like we drove over it, and it's one of the. I think they said it was the highest suspended bridge in California or something like that. Like the climb out of the canyon or whatever they call it. It's got to be just brutal.
Absolutely.
And apparently Michigan Bluff has a climb that is brutal.
Ton
Like
of DNFs there.
it's
Yeah.
100 degrees down. It's got to be 100 degrees
Yeah.
down there,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're climbing like straight up.
Yeah.
How can you even take in enough electrolytes and to stay moving?
I mean, that alone
moving
is
at that
such a
pace.
hard task. Like, to make sure you nail that because you screw up like if you're super dehydrated, it's hard to come back from that in the middle of a race.
Yeah. Especially as hot as this was.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you can. I know Jim Walmsley was giving tips on
on the broadcast.
on the broadcast. One of his was like every aid station he asked for ice first, and then the water because if you go water then ice, you don't get enough ice, and then he holds them in each hand because it's hot. So
interestingly, some brand reached out to us, which I think I was supposed to. They went to run through their product or whatever, but it's like a palm cooling thing. Have you ever heard of this?
apparently that would work.
But apparently people swear by it. I don't know if it's.
Are they like gloves?
No, it's like a device that
Oh.
you hold, and it basically brings
Your body temperature down because your pulse goes through there.
right, and it's like totally like if you do it in between workout reps or whatever.
Tell him to get it to me now.
They are. I think they're sending. I think it's on the way.
it was hot this morning. And I will tell you, coming back to this,
Oof.
this is disgusting.
Dude,
Like,
this is horrible.
I felt like we live underwater here.
Yeah.
Like we are literally underwater. Like they don't know what that is.
No, they don't.
Like that heat was really bad.
I'm not gonna lie, Paris was pretty hot too. I don't think it's just here.
Well, no,
Was
but
it
I'm
humid,
saying
though?
that it's wet.
yeah, it's
Like I came back here and I can feel moisture in
You
my
mean
lungs.
it's humid?
Yeah.
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 That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
It's soupy.
It was not like that in California. California,
dry heat. It was
you
dry heat.
needed to drink water just because you felt like you were turning into a raisin. Out here running this morning, I felt like someone was spraying my.
It's like you're
lungs
swimming.
with- yeah.
Yeah.
Or drowning.
Yeah.
In some
Either
case,
one.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But that was Western States. That
It
was
was.
a great experience.
I have to say, and I loved our crew. The vibe was awesome.
We had a good time.
I
We
really
had a
liked
good time.
meeting Reese. She's fantastic.
Shout
She's,
out, Reese.
Yeah,
Nice.
She's fun to hang out with. And, we all went rafting. We didn't even talk about the rafting.
Yeah, no.
We
Oh.
went rafting after the High Point Challenge. We got back.
No one hit their head this
I
time.
didn't fall. I didn't break my head.
It was one of the quieter times that we had a little space in the schedule.
Yeah.
So we went to the Truckee River and
Nice.
did it. And I thought it was a good time.
Yeah, hung out a little bit and then had a barbecue after, right?
Yeah.
Glizzy.
Yeah, we got hot dogs and burger. I don't think we got burgers, just hot dogs.
No, just
And some
sauces.
brats.
Yeah, some brats.
Yeah.
Cool.
And did it up. But yeah, it was pretty awesome.
It was
Nice.
a weekend of glizzies and ultra running and just all around a good time.
Yeah, I don't know. Do we even want to do the?
No.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it another
We-
time.
Yeah, we got it.
2
But
hours in.
we've
Yeah.
got Taylor's getting miles in the Rocket X Trail. We've got our miles in on the Rocket X3.
Yep.
We'll put together our review this week and then get it out to you. But I still have to write up meta speeds and stuff.
And stay tuned for the Western States recap video. I'll get to that soon, I think. But that is going to be a banger because this is the first. I was telling Thomas, I think this is the first race recap coverage that I'm doing that we actually covered the entire race.
Yeah.
We
Start
have
to
beginning,
finish.
middle,
Yeah,
finish.
right,
So
right.
it'll be more complete.
Yeah.
as
A lot of
opposed to
times
last year's.
we're running.
Right.
We're running a lot
Yeah.
of those too, but the ones that we do cover, it's like we never really get more than just the start or the finish. So
Yeah.
stay tuned for that.
Cool.
I think it'll be good.
Cool.
All right. Hi, Ma.
Hi, Robin.
Got my laces tied. My trusty podcast by my side. If you wanna talk fun, it's the place to be. Yeah, it's the drop. DROP.